Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at Tru Heel Heat. Yeah!
What's up, Tru Heel Heat?
Tru Heel Heat.
What's up? Tru Heel Heat. All hands is What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching Tru Heel Heat podcast.
Cero Mero leads to a talent exodus for AEW. Hello, you know the deal. It's Saturday morning. You know what time it is. It's time for the Saturday morning cookout here on the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. And what a week in pro wrestling it was when it comes to news, whether it be Penta's WWE debut, leading some AEW stars to be more open to leaving the company to go to WWE. WWE is willing and dealing, announcing a new official partnership with TNA Wrestling. You also got Malakai Black possibly being viewed as a top single star by WWE before he returns to the company following his departure from AEW. We had Raw on Netflix. We had SmackDown last night. You had AEW Dynamite Maximum Carnage with probably the bar for the worst wrestling segment of the year, because your mom's a call girl, and this is the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 312 Zero Meadow Exodus, discussing the latest wrestling news, including Penta's incredible WWE debut, leading to more AEW stars being open to making the move to WWE, the strange case of Corey Graves in WWE having a public falling out WWE and TNA Wrestling announcing an official partnership. Recap of this week in wrestling with WWE Raw on Netflix with Penta's debut. You had Friday Night SmackDown last night featuring Jacob Fatu stepping out of the shadow of Solo Sikoa. WWE NXT, AEW Dynamite, Maximum Carnage featuring Samoa Joe's return. Collision featuring Powerhouse Hobbs running wild on the Death Riders. ROH TV, NJPW Battle in the Valley featuring Gabe Kidd and Tomohiro Ishii going to war. TNA Impact. Plus, we got final predictions for tomorrow's big shows, TNA Genesis and The People versus GCW in the Hammerstein Ballroom. To do all of that, we are joined by the princess of all the Tru Heels, Miss Krssi Love. How are you doing?
What's happening, peeps? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Happy Saturday. Welcome. I'm feeling all right. It's been a kind of high and low week, but it's cool. It's been all right. How about you?
It's been a busy week as far as wrestling and wrestling content and big news throughout the week, but otherwise been spending time with the family, with the kids getting big, getting ready to turn 5. Feel old as hell. Can't believe it's been 5 years since the pandemic. That's crazy. But also, I've been deep diving, knee deep into the Traitors. After our conversation last week, Miss Krssi Love, I've actually binge watched the first 2 seasons already. I've already rewatched it, binge watched it. This is I think my second time or third time watching the second season, but first season it's my second time. Second season of Traitors is one of my favorite reality show seasons ever. Like I have so much joy, even though Trishelle may be a bigot because she picked on Peppermint. I just have so much joy seeing her and CT win at the end. It's so great. It's so nice. It's
the nostalgia of it all. It's the people.
Yeah.
It's the people that you've watched from where they started and where they are now. And I think that's what really like resonates with the show or whatever. So that's probably why you feel like that soft spot for that second season.
And it's because it's a whole bunch of reality TV stars, and the ones that I've watched the most is the ones winning. Right. So that's why I like this season of the Traitors, because taking like this week's episode, I know you haven't watched it, but the 2 people that I've watched the most, and that I know a lot of y'all are challenge fans as well as being wrestling fans, the 2 people that we probably all know the most on the show actually went at it on the round table. And the person that I didn't expect to win won, because Nikki Bella served Wes from the challenge. Oh my God. It was awesome. It was awesome. Wes didn't come correct. Wes coming out here with different allegations, flimsy excuses, flimsy evidence, and Nikki Bella done gave him the Bella Buster and just get him the fuck up out of here. And then they moved on to someone new at the round table.
Got it. Okay. Looking forward to watching it. Okay.
But you did tell me that the result was ruined for you, which I feel bad for, because the round table was edge of your seat television.
But also, I from last week's episode, you're doing too much, and that's why you got served, sir.
Yes, because he had the audacity to have the confessional when they're riding back from the challenge in the car. Right after he said that shit about, we still think one of the new guys is a traitor, and like there was nothing to prompt him to say that in this week's episode. Like he said that, and it was just like you literally just set off the alarm bells for Boston Rob, and Boston Rob was the one that got this train on the road, because I don't think Dylan Efron would have been able to do this on his own.
No, absolutely not. And it's to the point where I feel like they are just trying to give like. I think it's him and is it her name Danielle? Those are the 2 like traitors? You could tell when like the girl is like, yo, just chill, relax. Like no one doesn't even suspects her. But the other 2, they're like, because y'all doing too much. Is the fake crying? It's all of the.
Oh, you're talking about Caroline is the one that's saying that they did, because Danielle is the one, the other black lady. I think she's black and Hispanic, because her last name's Brienne.
Between her and Bob,
her and Bob were doing too much.
They doing
like
too
Caroline.
much.
Caroline is the one traitor who I think can win this whole game.
Absolutely, I so think that she could win, because she's no one think like everyone is thinking past her. They're not even like looking her way, because she's like mad under the radar. She doesn't speak that much. She'll give her her input, but she's doing like that's the Phaedra effect you want to go. Unless you could give the little like remarks and you could be like give the little reads real quickly, but once you start the act and it goes too far, it looks like it's not authentic, and that's what probably got his ass caught.
Yeah, because Caroline is just naturally like spazzy and twitchy. So like you're not gonna get anything from that. You can't be like, oh man, she's acting strange. No, that's just how she acts. Since he already acts strange, this is one of the better trader picks because there's not gonna be any difference in how she's moving and how she's acting from before she got picked to after.
Exactly. So I will be watching this once we finish this episode. I'll go and try to catch up.
Let me know what you think, and please watch on time for next week's episode, for next week's flagship episode.
Sure, I'll try my best.
I'll be on it, yo. I'll be on it. I had it on schedule. I was like, I did the Ring of Honor review for Fightful. I did the post show, and then I went right to the living room. I watched that Traders episode. I was like, I'm on it. I was in the middle of a season 2. I was finishing up on season 2 on Thursday.
I was ready to watch it on Thursday, but they don't release it till 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's
Thursday. That's which is so like weird, but like you just let it go. Just let it go the Thursday. Like everyone can watch anytime. So it's like just let it release it that day. So I don't know why. And 9 p.m. is so late, but whatever.
It is.
Peacock, get your shit together.
And yes, Valo B is he says the straight is the show with Nikki Bella, or rather Nicole Garcia. No, she's Nikki Bella.
No, she's Nikki Bella. Now she's Nikki Bella when it's fucking convenient.
Because Wes, let me tell you, Wes' whole fucking, you know what his evidence was? Because basically the house, because you remember the last episode that the traders had to pick the 3 names to put in the coffin, and then they would pick one to murder. So they knew the traders going in that they would think that there would at least be one traitor in the coffin, but like. That logic, it just doesn't make any sense, because if you're a faithful, you have to think like a traitor. Don't you think the traders would think that and double bluff you to make you believe that? So it's 3 murders for the price of 1?
Yeah.
But everybody believed that. So with Nikki being in the coffin, and I am spoiling that Nikki is not murdered. Nikki being in the coffin, that's what made Wes basically be like, oh, she's the murder. And he was like, if you're someone who comes from this big over the top world of pro wrestling, why is she acting so like calm and reserved? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
I don't know.
I was like, oh, Wes. I rolled my eyes so many times at Wes during this episode.
But Wes has to be Wes. It's not going to be authentic if it's not Wes being himself.
Yes.
So this is right on par.
But Wes is the one that peeps Rob's game. So I do have hope for Wes. Wes saved it at the end. When you watch the episode, you'll understand what I'm saying. He saved himself at the end, because I think like you, like me, because we're both wrestling fans, we are rooting somewhat for Nikki Bella. So we are going to be rolling our eyes as we watch this episode to Wes, who believes she's a traitor and is trying to like politic against her and shit. We are going to roll our eyes at Wes, but he does save himself in the end because he does peep game a lot faster than everybody else.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. Okay. I'm going to text you when I'm finished. Watch.
Yes. But this show is going to miss Bob. Bob, oh my God. I literally had to go on YouTube after last week's show when we were talking about it, Krssi, and go and watch some of Bob on like Drag Race and some of his podcasts with Monet.
Yes.
I had to because he's reality television gold.
He really is. I think they made a mistake with Dorinda, and I think they made a mistake with Bob. If those two right there are like great TV.
No, Ayan. Did you see the online exclusive of Ayan and Tony finding out about the traders?
Yes.
She was hilarious.
She was pissed. She was like, "Oh my God!" And she was like, "I knew it was Bob. I knew." But she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry I killed you." He was like, "It's a show, right? It's a show."
Oh, it was great. It was great stuff. It was great stuff. Well, we got a couple of y'all in the chat. That was our reality television, not wrestling portion of the podcast this week. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Let's drop the thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys, hear your thoughts on this week in wrestling or anything else. If you want to talk traders, we can talk some traders. If you want to talk power, we can talk some power. You want to talk, hey, I see you, Bell. I see you, Bell. You know what I had to do, Bell, this week? I had to go on Peacock and realize that Peacock has Love Island All-Stars on there. I did not know that. I'm in it. I saw that Ekin-Su is on Love Island All-Stars. I'm like, I'm here for it. I was like, I loved Ekin-Su on her season of Love Island with her and Davide. Some of the best meme-worthy content that I've seen in reality television in quite some time. So I'm going to watch her on All-Stars. But I watched the first episode of season 1 of Love Island All-Stars. So I'm using my Peacock account while I'm here in the States. But yes, if you want to talk anything, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate the support. We already got a few in the chamber. We got our good brother, Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says, what's good, THH fam? Just showing some love and support to the channel. Is it not a great time to be a wrestling fan? There's just so many options in the world of pro wrestling, so many eyes that are being exposed to the world of pro wrestling at this time, whether it be with WWE being on Netflix, whether it be AEW on Max, whether it be New Japan Pro Wrestling coming off of the Tokyo Dome. They had Battle in the Valley last Saturday. We'll talk about that on today's show. TNA working with WWE, an official partnership right before their Genesis pay-per-view, which might have a new world champion being crowd. So we got to talk about that on today's show. So there's a lot of exciting stuff, and the world of wrestling never sleeps. It never stops. There's news all the time. We also got Brandon Brown, who has been a member of the channel for 15 months. Let's give it up for Brandon Brown. Thank you so much for your support. You can hit the join button and become a member of the channel for just $1 a month, and you also get in-chat perks like that. We also got Vala B with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Vala B. We got Vala B who says, what's up, THH? As far as I'm concerned, it's good for talent to know that the grass is green somewhere else too. Yes, we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss.
Not always green, but semi-green. For some people.
It's green. It's sometimes greener on the other side. And we kind of talked about this on AE Ramble this week. The wrestling world is going to go in this circle. Like 5 years ago, in 2019, 2020, we were talking about, hey, WWE is oversaturated with talent. There's going to be some talent that are frustrated with their position that could get a higher position if they leave and go somewhere else. And that's when AEW comes up. And we get a whole bunch of talent, like your Swerve Stricklands, like your Tony Storms, like your Bryan Danielson, like your Adam Coles, like your Jon Moxleys, who leave WWE and go to AEW and find some success or find some exposure that they didn't get before. And now we're at the point where AEW is oversaturated with talent. And now WWE is totally new. It's a new regime. It's Triple H in charge. They got new conditions for the superstars. So now the grass is greener on that side. So you guys like your Malakai Blacks, your Miros, your Ricky Starks, the guys that are frustrated in AEW can now look at WWE and be like, hey, I
forgot all about Miro. Damn. Shit.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
One last super chat donation before we get into things. We got Chilling with Chase, who says, thank you so much, Chase. He says, look at the super chat train. Let me jump in. Happy Saturday. Chilling with Chase. That's why you're one of the good ones. That's why you're one of the good ones. And I thank you, Chase, because I did want to talk to when we do eventually a big traders podcast. We'll probably wait till the end of the season or maybe mid-season to do it. I might have to call you, Chase, because you got some knowledge, it seems, on the Big Brother verse, because I'm not
I don't know anything about Big Brother. Yeah.
I literally had to do my research on a lot of the players in last season, and I did some research on the players in this season, especially like Derek coming in, because I heard that he was like considered one of the goats of Big Brother. But we got Chase who adds on. Danielle is black, one of the goats of Big Brother. Should have won her original season, but people were upset at her confessionals. She the reason they changed the jury system in Big Brother. Wow.
Oh. Damn, she's a trendsetter. Okay.
I see you. But no, you are 100% also right though, Chase. These Big Brother players don't do well on traders.
Because it's not not the same game. I think they don't realize that.
Yeah.
Because what's the
they
premise
try to
of
play?
Big Brother
They try
anyway?
to play similar games. I mean, Chase can probably explain it more because he seems to be more versed in Big Brother. But from what I understand with Big Brother, it's basically people in the house, the public, and the people in the house vote on like people getting eliminated, or people, they do like challenges for head of the household, so that person is safe from like elimination and stuff like that, and they get to choose the people that I guess the public vote on to vote out of the house, and then at the end they do a jury vote of everyone else who's been eliminated, and they're the ones that pick the winner at the end of the season.
Got it. Okay, so all right.
Yeah, Big Brother players don't do well on traders or the challenge. Or the challenge. Just look at fucking Josh. I hate Josh. But we got Jellin with Chase, who says, yeah, Derek is one of the best. He manipulated everyone his season. Laugh my fucking ass off. Yeah, but he was not manipulating anyone on this episode. He tried to convince everyone Sierra was a traitor just because she cursed. Nigga, that's a fucking black chick from California. That's their second word out is fuck.
Right. Like you have to have your reasons for us to like pick you on why you're a traitor, and their reasons just be like so like off the the rails. It's like really. Okay.
Did you think this one through, or just
no
going on a whim?
Nope, going on a whim.
But let's start off every flagship podcast, as always, with our Tru Heel roll call, shouting out those supporting us across social media here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, as well as our Patreon. Our top 3 conversation starters on our Facebook Tru Heels page. We got Jermaine Packman, Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting, and Stewie John Palmer. Once again, our Tru Heel Trinity. Patreon backers, we got Valo B, who's already in the chat. Thank you for showing up today. ALW, Negro Buck, Nick Jackson, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris, Trey, Robert, Steve, Ladarius, John, a.k.a. Russell Scopes, Dan, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus Ryan, James, Allen, and Santo. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, and that's the best place to support us when we are not live here. But without further ado, let's get into what we missed this week. Yeah, and we'll start off how we started off last week, Miss Krssi Love, with WWE Raw on Netflix. Because let's be honest, we should have got this show last week because this was a much better show. The show
they wanted to be all like the bells and whistles and all that other BS like that. So this is why we have this episode. They had to, this is episode number 2 or 3?
2.
2. So this is episode 2. Oh no, 3 is tomorrow on Monday. Excuse me. Yeah, this had more wrestling and more things like added on to the show. So yes, much better.
The show featured the long-anticipated debut of former AEW star Penta, who picked up a win over Chad Gable in an awesome opener to the show. Post-match, Penta cut an outstanding promo in English and Spanish to a huge pop from the San Jose crowd, getting very emotional with his family at ringside. You also had CM Punk. He kicked off the show to officially declare for the men's Royal Rumble match, shouting out his former rival John Cena in the process. looking for a bit of redemption for his loss at the Netflix premiere, it was Seth Rollins who interrupted to also declare for the men's Royal Rumble match, as well as sporting a very noticeable black eye. Seth vowed to take Punk's WrestleMania dreams away. Then Drew McIntyre interrupted both men to chastise Rollins for being all talk when it comes to being a leader and stopping Roman Reigns from getting to the top. McIntyre also declared for the men's Royal Rumble matchup, making this probably one of the most star-studded Rumbles ever. You also had Lyra Valkyria defeated Dakota Kai in a fun sprint to become the inaugural WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. Gunta came out to criticize the wrestling on the Netflix premiere. He said until it was Jey Uso who came out to interrupt to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. After the ring general laughed it off and insulted Jey, Jey cut an excellent promo about always being doubted and fighting for respect to set up the title bout for Saturday night's main event. Speaking of that event, you also had Sheamus on the show. He picked up a win over Ludwig Kaiser in another solid bout between the two men. Post-match, Sheamus stepped up to Braun Breaker to set up an Intercontinental Championship match for Saturday night's main event on January 25th. And finally, you had Damian Priest finally put to bed his feud with the Judgment Day with a victory over Finn Balor in a super fun street fight that went all over the building, stomps through tables. You had Razor's Edge through table, and then finally it was the South of Heaven by Damian Priest telling him he's not his brother's keeper as he put Finn Balor again away. Finn Balor is at it again, Krssi Love. How much did you enjoy this week's Raw in comparison to last week, and what was kind of the standout moments for you?
I just think this episode just missed what last week's episode had, which was like stars there or whatever. But other than that, this was a great show. This was more wrestling. It was more what Monday Night Raw is about. Was not prepared for it to go off at 10:30 Eastern time. Didn't know what that was about. Was like, hey, what's happening? Why is it over? We still have 30 minutes left.
I'm okay with that. I was totally fine with
I mean, looking at it now, yes, but in that moment, I'm like, what happened? Like, you know.
Yeah, I figured this when Priest came out for the main event at like 10 o'clock.
Again, it was not looking at the time of like when the main event came on, because I'm like, okay, it's coming. Okay. So is this the main event? Like, okay, I guess we don't have anything else left to do. But great show. Dakota Kai, you are not worthy. I'm sorry, friend. They don't think you're worthy because they didn't give you the belt.
I can't say that they chose the wrong one, though.
I mean, the match was good, but no one really gave a shit about the match, though, if you think about it. The crowd
got into it by the end.
By the end, though, like the girls had to say, you know, like, come on, like, hello, like, give us something to work with. You're not doing nothing. You're just sitting here. They probably all went to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
I mean, we got a much longer main event women's match on last night's show, and that didn't get much of a reaction either.
That didn't get a reaction, nor did the tag match get a reaction either.
So I don't know. Maybe it might be because Triple H doesn't know how to book the women's division. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I know people get offended by that, but yeah.
I think it's a disservice to the women. Yeah, they're wrestling their asses off, and no one gives a shit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like the.
And we had three women's matches yesterday.
We had three. Yeah, we had three because we had B-Fab and Piper Niven, even though I could forget that match right after it happened.
I was just saying that we had three matches. I wasn't going to name them down, but, you know, whatever.
And notice that I just ran through the Monday Night Raw this week, and I did not mention that Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Bayley segment because that was the worst part of the show.
I mean, we could name some more worse parts, but it's okay. It's like, it's not necessary.
What was worse than that? What was worse than that?
That was the worst. I said we could name more things, but we're not going to do that. Like, it's a waste of time. Like,
I thought everything. I honestly thought everything on this show worked. There was stuff I would have added. There was stuff that I would fix, like Gunther and the World Heavyweight Championship feeling like a mid-card title. I would fix that. And the fact that Gunther has been the champion since August. How many fresh fucking rivalries has he had in the past 5 months?
2.
None.
Oh,
none. Randy Orton, he faced him at King and Queen of the Ring. Sami Zayn, he faced him at WrestleMania. Damian Priest, he beat Damian Priest for the title.
Yes.
Finn Balor, he beat him in June. Jey Uso, he literally said in the opening promo, I beat you twice when I was Intercontinental Champion. Literally last year. Like, they literally, are we really going to try to act like Gunther's, we're going to have a whole Gunther world title reign where we act like the top stars on Monday Night Raw, your Seth Rollins, your Drew McIntyres, your CM Punks don't exist?
This is very all true facts. For someone that had a credible, outstanding Intercontinental title run, I think when they said, let's put the title on him, they had nothing else after that. You get a big pop. You beat Damian Priest because everyone wanted it off of Priest because that was, what it was. He had his run. Great. Unfortunately, this won't take credit away from him, but it's time to remove the title.
Like, they're just our bigger stars right now, and if you want to make their matches bigger for WrestleMania, you're gonna have to let the title off with Gunther.
Unfortunately, yes.
And literally, Krssi, you do the show with me every week. I said this back when we were building to Survivor Series. That whole thing, how they booked his whole character in heading into that second Damian Priest match, that completely nuked any momentum he had. It nuked it. It nuked it dead. Gunther is the best in-ring performer in this company, and they just continue to just be like, you know what, you're world heavyweight champion, but you're not really the guy. I think Krssi is having technical difficulties. Yeah, you're frozen. I've seen you were freezing as I was going through my diatribe. I don't know if you wanna recheck anything. Okay. We got you.
Okay, there you go. Ahead. Okay, I was frozen. I don't know what happened.
There you go. You're back. Okay, but I was saying I literally said this back when they were building to the Priest match at Survivor Series that build that they did to that matchup completely nuked the Gunther character, and he hasn't recovered since. We're going on 3 months now since that whole build up. He still hasn't recovered. You're muted.
Unfortunately, no. It's sad to say, but true. Like, I blame Triple H and them. He did what he could do. I blame them. They didn't make his run the run that it should have been.
We got Cyclops is better than Wolverine. He says the amount of people trying to gaslight me into believing Penta didn't have a good debut on Twitter is crazy. What did you think about Penta's debut, how he was presented on Monday Night Raw, and the matchup with Chad Gable?
So, doesn't he own his name?
No.
Penta? No? Oh, he doesn't? Okay, so that's why we have Penta.
Triple A owns Pentagon Jr. Because it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick that was basically passed down to Penta.
Got it. So that's why we have the one name. Okay. I think he looked great. I think he was successful. To go against Chad Gable was good. And I'm happy everyone knew who he was. Because people swear they don't watch AEW, so they don't know who the fuck people are. So, I'm happy he got a great pop.
People always say, we don't watch AEW, we don't do this. But why is it that every time an AEW star comes to WWE, they get this big pop?
That's what I'm saying.
If y'all don't watch it, it seems kind of strange that everybody seems to know him.
Very strange.
Very
but
strange.
Whatever.
Interesting. We got
Isn't it always though?
Claudia Cyclops is better than Wolverine says 2.5 hours may be the perfect timing for a wrestling show. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Again, I'm saying in that moment, I'm like, we still got 30 minutes. Like, what's happening? But as you realize and realistically, it's like, that's not a bad time for a show. Yeah, if you could do SmackDown and go over 30 more minutes, great. They don't need 3 hours.
So I saw this comment, and I may have just came up with another rant in my head, Krssi Love. I don't know if you're ready for this, but
I'll be ready.
If you're ready, have one of my when I say I think we need to have this serious conversation because we have Davey on here who says I love Gunther, but something just seems off with his title reign. This title reign, I would go as far to say a lot of the champions in WWE and AEW fucking suck.
Once before they become champions, they're great.
No, I'll break it down. I'll break it down for you. We'll start with WWE.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes, he's fucking boring. I say that as someone who said Cody was a Wrestler of the Year candidate in 2024. But let's be honest, a lot of his reign has been fucking boring.
A lot of it is the same stuff. It's copy and paste. It's the same MO. Okay, especially this Kevin Owens shit is just ridiculous. But go ahead.
I love you guys. You wanted me. You made it happen. I finished my story. And I love Cody. But like, this is what I say. We're having a serious conversation. And I Cyclops better than Wolverine. I love the KO feud as well. But let's be honest about this. Do we love the KO feud because of his chemistry with Cody, or do we love the KO feud because of what KO's doing? I think for me, it's because of what KO's doing. It's not necessarily because he's feuding with Cody.
I think KO is the one that's the star of this whole feud. He's the one that's shining. He's actually doing much better than the actual champion. Yeah. You know, the heels always do a lot, and I think he's doing a lot of what people are thinking. So he's just saying it.
Gunther has completely just gone against his whole character, starting from the Damian Priest build-up, and they literally just refused to give him a fresh rivalry, and they totally lost the plot on the Ring General character. So that's our two world champions.
Yes. I agree with you on that one. Continue.
The women's champions, Tiffany Stratton's too new as WWE Women's Champion.
Yes,
I don't have too many criticisms on her, and she did well last night in her performance. I thought that was one of her better performances last night. So she may go in the rare good category of good WWE and AEW champions. But Rhea Ripley, I'm sorry, it is new, but it already feels like WWE doesn't have any new ideas for this Rhea Ripley second run. That I feel from that segment that we got on Monday that they don't have any new creative ideas, that will probably just be getting the same shit we got the first time around with Rhea Ripley, which is probably a Becky Lynch matchup. I know everybody like me is hoping out for an Io Sky Royal Rumble win so we can get Io in Ripley because that's something new, but I don't know. I just don't know. It doesn't seem like there's anything new. There's any new ground to explore with Rhea Ripley as the women's world champion.
Yes, because I think they just did like the Becky Lynch effect and just like, let's just put the title on her. We don't know who else to have to carry this match or this company as far as the women. And Liv has done what she's done. Now it's time to give it to somebody else.
Then that's the women's champions. Then you go to the tag team titles. DIY, I like their new gimmick, but I'm not too confident how far WWE is gonna go with it. And the War Raiders have had the world tag team titles and have literally done jack and shit with it in the month.
I told them they should have never took them titles off. Yeah, especially the War Raiders. Y'all ain't even doing that with them. They just came back. And let's be honest, who's looking for the War Raiders? I'll wait. Nobody.
Also true.
Nobody.
Chelsea Green is the captain of the good champions in WWE and AEW. Anytime she comes on the screen, people are talking in my living room. I tell them to shut up because Chelsea Green's on the screen. So she's a good champion. Lyra Valkyria, you got people like Krssi Love who just feel like it's too soon. Like you make the argument, you probably feel like Dakota deserved it more than Lyra. So there's going to be people that feel like Lyra's getting too much too soon. Even though I don't feel like that, I understand the argument.
Right. I exactly. What I'm saying is she literally just got up there. She's ready to champion. I don't think the crowd has connected with her all the way. Maybe they want the crowd to connect with her. That's why they gave her this championship. I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, Dakota just got back. You've never even given her really a run or to do anything since she's been there. She's been in a faction and just been someone's sidekick from the moment she got there. So let's just talk about like giving people chances where chances are supposed to be done. Like, how are people supposed to connect with these girls if you don't even give them runs? I would have even understood if they would have gave Michin, the belt on the other side, or like, girls that be on TV constantly and that you're not doing anything with them though.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad, like but it's true.
That's my whole reason on Lyra Valkyria. She literally just got here when we did the last call up. She was the champion. She released it to Roxanne. She came here and she had the feud with Becky Lynch. Cute, great. But I feel like as the NXT girl, like there was so many other girls that you could have like given a chance that's never gotten a chance to do something. Zelina Vega, been there forever. You didn't give her anything. Like you have girls that are there and you're wondering why they can't get anywhere and they're in the same stale because you don't give them chances.
True. They're never going to get into any type of top position or be able to rise up to that if they don't get these key wins like that. But that's the main roster, most of the main roster. The women's tag team titles, I can't even put Bianca and Naomi in the good section. They're just in the meh. I feel like the titles are being used for an angle that has nothing to do with the titles. This titles are being used for this who attacked Jade Cargill storyline more than it is for having good tag team matches.
That is true. We still don't know what's happening with Jade. They keep teasing us with this foolish thing. Oh, it's Naomi. Oh, it's Bianca. Just fucking do it already.
Oh, you know what, Alex Powell? I deadass was gonna move on to AEW. I totally forgot about the mid-card champions, which is why the mid-card champions are not good right now. Because Nakamura, no one believes that this is a push for Nakamura. This is just Nakamura having another mid-card title run that no one's gonna care about.
Damn, really, bro?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no one's gonna care about it. No one cares already. He's been a champion for nearly 2 months. No one cares.
Has it been 2 months?
He won it on November 30th. November 30th, 2024. It was last year.
Damn. I thought he won it in December. My bad.
No, we're 2 weeks away from 2 months of Nakamura as champion. And then Braun Breaker might be the most disappointing champion in all of WWE. And I know you didn't like Braun Breaker from the beginning, but my lord, has Triple H shit the bed on this Braun Breaker title.
I tried to tell y'all niggas, y'all ain't want to listen to me. I tried to tell y'all. Y'all was like, no, give it a chance. Chance my ass. He held
it the first time for 40 days. He's held it for longer this time, but I don't know what he's done outside of had good to great matches with Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser like once a month.
And they keep having Sheamus fight Ludwig Kaiser or vice versa. The same three guys keep fighting each other.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if a triple threat match at this point. Again. Didn't we do it already?
Yeah, they did that at Survivor Series. They'll probably do it again.
Yep, they do it again.
But that's WWE. I'll leave NXT alone for now, but that's WWE main roster.
NXT is like just like let NXT rock. They're fine. It is what it is. That's NXT.
Yeah. I have my issues with some of the NXT champions, but we'll just throw them all into the good section. But really, when you look at the WWE main roster, is Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green. Those are the only good champions from the WWE main roster out of like 10 different champions. Yep. Then you got AEW, which is a whole bunch of problems because I already did this on Thursday, so I'll give y'all the Spark Notes version. I'll give Krssi the Spark Notes version. The only good champions in AEW are literally champions that have titles named after networks owned by that have AEW television. Literally, TNT and the TBS champions are the only good champions, only ones that are properly booked, that look like credible champions in the entire goddamn company. And no, we'll add Konosuke Takeshita because Takeshita's been doing his thing outside with New Japan as well. So there's Takeshita, there's Danny Garcia, and most of his title defenses are on Collision, which not a lot of AEW fans are watching. And then there's Sadie Monet because of the in-ring work, not because of the character. Mariah May has been booked awful. Mariah May has done great with everything she's done, but she has been her title reign has fucking sucked, and it looks like she had no plan at all after that. And talking about no plan for a title run, let's not even get started on Private Party. Oh my god!
Oh my god, that's the worst one of them all. Take it off. Take them off now. I want them removed ASAP. Private Party is a disgrace. I'm sorry. It's disgusting.
No, it's nothing. They're not a disgrace. It's Tony Khan and the booking team is a fucking disgrace because they had nothing. They didn't have no plans. This past Wednesday was the first time Private Party wrestled on Dynamite since they won the titles on the October 30th episode of Dynamite.
Terrible. Exactly.
Deaf Riders don't even show up with the trios titles anymore.
Right. Oh my god, you're right. Shit, I forgot all about the fucking trios titles. Damn.
Just not here. And then Jon Moxley, man, you got people pleading to Tony Khan on social media to get this goddamn title off of him. So literally, it's Danny Garcia, Mercedes, and Konosuke Takeshita. Thus, we only have 6 credible champions in the 2 biggest companies in the world that have 22 different champions.
So yeah, AEW is this one. You got this one for they're doing worse than WWE. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Both companies are doing horrible at booking champions.
But one is just worse than the other. Let's just
No, they're both pretty bad. No, they're both in the same shape.
Okay, fine. Okay.
They're both in the same shape. I mean, WWE does better at just presentation in general, but like Triple H's booking has not been good of his champion. It just hasn't. Tony Khan's has been horrible as well. I think they're on 8th round at this point. But we got to exit out of Monday Night Raw and talk a little bit more about Penta's debut for WWE. A new report from PW Insider has revealed that the reaction to Penta's first outing wasn't wholly positive from the locker room. This report came out immediately after Monday Night Raw this week. According to the report, the Gable versus Penta match combined with the post-match interview went quote-unquote way longer than initially planned. This led to time being quote-unquote trimmed from other segments later in the show, which some talents were quote-unquote obviously not thrilled. Fightful Select, though, provided an update noting that WWE higher-ups who spoke to them indicated that they hadn't specifically heard of any heat on Penta. If there was any heat, it should have been on whoever decided that the WWE Raw telecast needed a hard out on the show. Although WWE has flexible times for Monday Night Raw on Netflix, the company were trying to get off the air in about 2.5 hours for the January 13th episode. The report notes that claims internally were that there were some talent the company wanted to make sure made it to their late flights out of San Jose, California. Among talent Fightful spoke to, the claim was that they did not hear of any heat on Penta, and most everyone backstage was aware of how much the moment meant to him and his family. Per Lucha Libre Online, though, AEW talents were unhappy with their who are unhappy with their current roles in AEW are now more willing to consider WWE as an alternative. with two talents telling Lucha Libre Online that they would explore free agency and potentially WWE interests in 2025. Lucha Libre Online wrote exclusive. Our sources confirmed to us that there are several AEW talents who do not feel comfortable with their role in the company. These talents did not dare to explore WWE as a real alternative due to the feeling of uncertainty of getting lost in the monster of a system that is WWE. Others because they had not previously had the television chime and prominence that they would have wanted to in their past stay in WWE. However, that feeling of uncertainty has eradicated. Because upon seeing Penta's debut in WWE, those talents who want to leave AEW due to their role in the company understood that having the AEW brand on their resume becomes a strength and a bargaining chip that they can use to their advantage. Because of this, said talents who are not happy with their current status in AEW are more willing to study WWE as an alternative, with two of said talents confirming that they would explore free agency in 2025, specifically WWE. Talents feel more secure and confident and of achieving success in companies like WWE due to the administrative change in culture, and the range of opportunities presented to talent who left AEW, as also the case with Ethan Page and Lexis King. Krssi Love, my question to you. What do you think about this? What do you think about this report in general about talent being more open to making the jump to WWE? And which frustrated or absent AEW talent should WWE consider a top priority to sign if they do become available?
Ricky Starks. Even though, did he just not resign? I can't remember. Shit.
No, I think he's signed through 2025.
Okay, so I think that, you know, if you're unhappy, just like if you were at WWE, you're not happy, go talk. Everyone is friends, so everyone knows somebody that's like interested in going somewhere. So I'm not surprised that people are, you know, doing the whole thing and looking at like, well, we started here at AEW. Let's see what the other company can offer us. Like, especially like the people that like was there since the company started. Go ahead, leave. Ricky Starks, leave. Your best friend is there. Leave. I'm sure he can talk to Triple H. Nick Khan, he got all their numbers in his pocket on speed dial.
Or just call Cody. He got it.
Call Cody. Just call Cody. And exactly. I know Hobbs was one of those people, so.
We got in the chat here, Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Said Penta sold his leg so well, I was honestly concerned that he was hurt. Never seen he sell like that before. Yeah, he did a great job. He had a couple of people convinced he got hurt during the matchup. As far as who I think frustrated or absent AEW talent, I mean, Ricky Starks is a no-brainer. Miro is a no-brainer.
Yes,
Ray Phoenix is a no-brainer. I would think someone like a Wardlow, I think if he's willing to start in NXT, he's a guy that would get more success and more exposure.
I feel like he's going to have that Braun Strowman effect.
Well, I mean, Braun Strowman is over as fuck on SmackDown, so I mean, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing to have the Braun Strowman effect. Not like his career is done.
No, but ain't nothing happening either. So that's all I'm saying.
I mean, Braun's gonna be on Saturday night's main event. It's a big spot for him.
Sure.
We got in the chat Senior Nerd who says, my guess, one of the talents is Ricky Starks. Yeah, that seems like the biggest no-brainer of them all. We should note that following Penta's debut on WWE Raw, AEW basically pulled Ray Phoenix's Shop AEW merchandise page, so he can't make merch money now. So seems like these petty games is just gonna keep digging lower. I mean, I would hope that that's a sign that AEW is considering letting him out of his deal early, because there's no reason. If you're not going to use him, there's no reason to hold on to him.
No reason. Well, you know they're going to be petty and hold on to them as long as they can.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Pay me. You want them? Pay me a little bit of money. Come on. How bad do you want them? So,
unfortunately, I do think you're right. We do have a new member in the on the channel, Bone Daddy in the chat. Thank you so much, Bone Daddy, for becoming a member of the channel. Thank you so much, good brother. Like I said before, hit the join button and become a member of the channel if you can. $1 a month gets you exclusive in-chat perks. We also got Cyclops is better than Wolverine with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Cyclops. He says, if I'm Hook, I'm leaving AEW ASAP, to be honest. Yeah, Hook is one that I've been in for months should leave because he needs the reps and he needs to get training from the world-class trainers that they have over in WWE. WWE,
yes.
Go over to WWE, train in the PC, get your reps in NXT, and then 3 years from now you'll be ready for any type of main roster television.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, Hook is one. If you're someone like a Britt Baker, you have to consider it. I don't know if WWE is going to be calling you, but that's why I formed the question of which ones should WWE consider top priority to sign. Because we named a whole bunch of names, but I don't think all of them are top priority. Like Hook, I think he's a prospect that you can mold, but do I consider him a top priority? No. Ricky Starks, I do.
No.
Ricky Starks is the type of talent you could sign him today and put him on the main roster, similar to what you just did with Penta. He has the experience of being on television. He can do great promos. He can handle himself in the ring. He could be a good character on television as well. And he has ready-made history with a bunch of top guys like your CM Punks, your Cody Rhodes. So there's a way to get him in there in the main roster almost immediately. So I would say you got to consider three top priority, frustrated, absent AEW talents. I would say Ricky Starks, Malakai Black is pretty much on the way out, so I can throw him in there since he already seems like he's on his way out already. Malakai Black.
Oh yeah, Malakai Black definitely for sure. Yes,
Malakai Black, and then I'm just gonna try it. You know what? I'm gonna throw in a wild card into this one. Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, let Thunder Rosa go. Yeah, it's time.
Let Thunder Rosa go. Like I've tried to give y'all a chance. Y'all gave her the title run that you didn't really try. One of those private party title runs where it's just about the moment of winning the title and you don't have plans for it afterwards. You gave her one of those type of runs. And it doesn't seem like she's going to sniff around there anytime soon. She wasn't included in the Casino Gauntlet this week. Just let her go. Just let her go. Let her have a run. She's another talent that I would consider a top priority. Those three top priorities I just named, Ricky Starks, Malakai Black, and Thunder Rosa. The reason why they're top priorities is because they are the people that I would sign and I can immediately put on the main roster. If I can't immediately put you on the main roster, if you're a project that's going to take like 5 years, you're not a top priority.
You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Gotta call it how I see it.
It's true. Yeah, those people definitely need to let go, and I could definitely see Thunder Rosa doing a great run with like Rhea Ripley or like who else?
She just did an interview with Tim Rivera from Subway Mania where she said her 3 dream matches is, I believe it was Charlotte Flair, Bayley, and Bianca Belair. I was like, girl, you ready to get up out of here?
Yep. And I see Tim Rivera is getting a lot of more recognition. I remember when he just started like the whole like Subway thing. He's getting these people like talking to him and going to places. Good for him.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. Good dude over there. We got more super chat donations here. We got Chuck Berries who says Malakai Black, WWE main roster, and Ricky Starks NXT, Miro Indies. Just my opinion. I think Miro's the type. Miro's the type you can re-sign and you can just make him Rusev again. And I don't think he's gonna go to back to WWE and get pushed bigger than he was before. But if he just gets the spot that he had before, I think he'll be fine with that in comparison to not being used at all.
You got a point.
And Ricky Starks, if you do put him on NXT, he's a 1 year and out NXT guy. He's not a 3 year NXT guy. If you have him on NXT for 3 years, you're not booking him properly.
Yeah, I think maybe a year and a half tops.
Yeah,
he doesn't need that much. Like,
I can see a year and a half. That's fair. That's fair as well. We got another super chat donation. Thank you so much. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. He says, did y'all see any AEW women jumping ship to WWE? Thunder Rosa is like the biggest shout that doesn't seem as highly likely. The only thing that stops me from being very confident in that shout is because of her age. And she has been told by WWE her age is an issue to them. But I think now with the new I think she's 39, if I'm not mistaken.
She can run laps around these bitches. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why I'm saying. I think with the new regime with AAA, she's 38. Sorry, my apologies. She's 38. She's 38 years old, and that's
still prime. Like she's still.
She could outwork 85% of the women's roster in WWE.
Her and Charlotte Flair, fire.
Her and Bailey. Anyone on that.
Any one of them, actually. Yeah. Any one of those girls can give a banger. They would be good. I think she would be awesome.
You see, I did not know. I did not know Zarya was 40 years old. Is that are you serious? I did not know that.
Well, she looks amazing.
She looks amazing for 30. I mean, for 40. What? You can't be serious. You can't be serious, sir. I'm gonna have to fact check you on this. You can't be serious. I literally have to fact check this. Why didn't they have her? Oh man, nah. He might be right because they don't have her age on Wikipedia. If they don't have a woman's age on Wikipedia, that means that woman is doing very much good work to keep that age off of the internet.
Yep, that is true.
Sheeta, I couldn't see it.
No.
I can't see it. It's definitely not 50-50 though. It's just not.
No.
It's not.
She just should stay where she's at. Yeah.
She's comfortable. Cyclops is better than Wolverine, says Bianca, like 35, Asuka 43, Shayna 40. But you're not taking into account, Cyclops, that these women signed when they were in their 30s. Like you're saying Asuka's 43. Asuka signed with the company when she was 33. Shayna's 40. Shayna signed with the company when she was like 32. So like there is a difference. There is a difference from someone who's been in your company for almost a decade and you signed them in their early 30s in comparison to a woman that you're telling me you think you're confident WWE is going to sign because age doesn't seem like much of a problem. But how many of these, like Delta is one that's 40 that they signed, but they're not going out of their way to sign a bunch of 40-year-olds in late 30s. The company is more focused on like their NIL talent, their younger talent that they can build up and mold more than these talent. They will bring in, and that's why I said it's a top priority thing. There's gonna be 3 that's top priority and maybe 3 more that's not top priority that they eventually get to. But you gotta think about the company and all the different lords that they have to serve. Like they have a couple of things that they have to keep in mind. RPGs is saying Sheeta is happy being a YouTuber. Exactly.
She don't want nobody to take that away from her because you know that once you go to WWE, they're gonna take all that. They're gonna try to put rights and everything on. They're gonna say you can't do it and all this other BS.
He's talking about Myron Kidd said he's talking about a Mexican wrestler, Delta. I mean, don't confuse us like that, man. We talking about WWE here. You can't be bringing up Mexican wrestlers, man. Mexican wrestlers, they wrestle into their 60s because they wear a mask. You can't tell how old they are. But this is an interesting conversation. Like a couple of your thoughts here. Cyclops is better than Wolverine, says I could see Britt going to WWE. 100% I could see it. I don't see WWE ever making her a top priority though.
No. Never. She'll definitely always be second.
Like Britt was a top star in the AEW women's division when there wasn't any other top stars.
Yep. So I mean, once she comes, I mean, they will give her some like star treatment. She will be a great heel. But I think that's really where it would stay. Like, I don't think they would like really put, oh yeah, we're gonna put a belt on her right away. I don't think that's how it would go right away. No.
We got another super chat donation here from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. He says, I need a segment with Penta, Io, Kyrie, and Chelsea. And he asks them, how's your arm? If you know, you know. It's referring to Penta breaking all those women's arms in Lucha Underground. My question to you, I mean, it would be interesting. My question to you, though, Krssi Love, to finish off everything with Penta and the AEW Exodus. Well, the last two questions. What do you think is the ceiling for Penta in WWE? Do you think that he could become potentially a WWE champion, a top star in the company, a WrestleMania main event type guy? Or do you think it's something like more modest, like Intercontinental champion or United States champion, somewhere in that range? Or do you think he's just a fucking fluff up? He's a fucking ugly chick with makeup, and they're just gonna give him a fucking push to attract AEW stars, and then it ends.
See, I was with number 2. Then you go number 3, and I'm like, damn. He might be
we literally just saw this with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Right,
Shinsuke Nakamura got a fake push to attract Okada. So it's not out the realm of possibility that they do the same with Penta to attract AEW stars.
Sadly to say, I feel like he can definitely be a good singles mid-carder. If once his partner comes, they'll have the tag championships. I don't see him as a top champion. I'm sorry. I think that it is partially going to be used as a fluffer, but I feel like he'll give great matches and will be a good mid-carder, and then definitely transition to the tag team division. And that's where it's going to stay.
Yeah, I can see him being a top tag team with Rey Fenix when Rey Fenix comes over to the company, and that's why I said that on the Rated Raw review this week. Yep. I think he definitely has a higher ceiling in the tag team division than as a single star. We got in the chat, call me Mr.
Definitely
Banda.
do.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I think I'm on delay for you.
No, I was just saying, definitely gonna see. Very delayed, but it's fine. Don't worry, it's cool.
Call me Mr. Banda says Penta is going to float in between the mid card and tag scene. I could see that as well. He also says Dragon Lee should have stayed in NJPW. Dude has not been used in 8 weeks. So yeah, that's happened. That happened. King Ellie Show says, what about Jamie Hayter going from AEW to WWE? I could see WWE being interested in Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter's I mean, that's a good one right there.
Yeah, if I'm WWE, yeah, I would definitely be interested in Jamie Hayter for sure. But this depends. I feel honestly though, I feel like the fans are more frustrated with Jamie Hayter's booking than Jamie Hayter is frustrated with her booking. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel. And I'm not saying that like she's complacent or anything like that. I just don't think her booking has been that bad. As bad as some fans are describing it.
I don't think it's been that bad. It could have been better. It could be better.
Yeah, it could be better for sure.
But it's not. I don't think it's bad at all.
It's not horrible. Like the way people talk about it, they talk about like Jamie Hayter does not even get used. Like they talk about Jamie Hayter sometimes like she's Ricky Starks or Miro. Like there is a difference. There are levels to this, people, and we really need to stop mixing our deliveries and the way we talk about certain wrestlers when their situations are not the same.
It's definitely not the same, for sure. I agree.
We got Communist Sabani says where's Bandito? He got hurt. He got hurt immediately when he came back. He got a concussion. So
damn.
Last Monday's episode of WWE Raw ended earlier than the previous week's episode, confirming what Triple H previously said. He noted that they could be more flexibility about the runtime rather than it ending strictly at 2 or 3 hours. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that WWE is aiming to typically have a sweet spot of 2.5 hours. It was noted, however, that this can and has changed over time. Of course, they still have some wiggle room with Raw on Netflix. The runtime is just what Triple H is hoping to achieve each week. It was notable that last Monday they ended up cutting other segments to get the runtime they decided upon. This was because of Penta's segment went long. They ended up going a few minutes past the planned time. There were also segments that were done during commercial breaks that could air on non-Netflix international TV stations, which could extend it to 3 hours with commercials. International stations were told that it would be that time as well. So seems like we're gonna get 2.5 hour Raws. Do you think that is a good sweet spot for WWE, Krssi?
Yes. If the show is done properly like they did last Monday, it's a good spot. I think it's good. Like I said, I was only off of track because of the previous week where 3 hours, and I'm like, okay, I thought we were going back to 3 hours since we're on Netflix. But I didn't watch the press conference. I didn't hear the part that says they're going to be changing out the time. So, because I messaged you guys in the chat, I was like, what's happening? Yeah, I was like, no. I said this was going to happen. I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Netflix also released the week-long viewership numbers for last week's WWE Raw debut episode on the platform. The company released its weekly top 10 rankings, which show that Raw scored a total of 5.9 million views for the week ending on January 12th. That's up from the 4.9 million views that had been tallied as of Thursday last week. Netflix counts viewership numbers by taking the total number of hours watched, 17.7 million in the case of Raw, and dividing it by the show's runtime, 3 hours. Thus, people who watch just a minute or even an hour of the show are not counted as a full view. They get folded into the overall duration watched and factored into the math to figure out the number of views. Obviously, 5.9 million views is far above what the show ever drew on USA Network, and in fact would be more viewers than any episode in the last 10 years. However, there are a number of reasons why they aren't comparable. For one, this is viewing spread across the week, and the ratings we have received are on cable networks were always live or lives plus same day viewing. In addition, those numbers were provided by Nielsen, and which does representation of viewing numbers. And finally, the number represent global viewership, where the numbers we have received until now have only been the US viewing. The show ranked number 4 in total views for the week among English TV shows on Netflix, behind only the limited series Missing You with 15.2 million views on its second week, the Western limited series American Primeval, 10.4 million shows, 10.4 million views for the show in its first week, and the 2-episode docu-series Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action. Gotta watch that. Did 7.7 million views in this first week. Squid Game Season 2 led all shows, regardless of language, in its third week with 26.3 million views, and it now stands as the third most watched season of television of all time on Netflix with 152.5 million views, behind only the first season of Squid Game, which did 265.2 million views, and Wednesday Season 1, which did 252.1 million views. And Wednesday Season 2 probably will break that.
Yep. Because we've been waiting for it for mad long.
And then Stranger Things is going to smash whatever records all the records. The last season of Stranger Things, that's going to smash everything.
Oh, this is the very last season. This is over. This is
it's over. It's over after this year. It's over after this year. Yep.
The kids is like, they're not babies no more. They grown adults now. They're young, like they're in their 20s.
They in their 20s. They in their mid 20s by this point. Like, because you take fucking 5 years in between every season. But yeah, interesting how these numbers are going to translate. We'll have numbers on this past Monday's Raw coming up on next week's flagship episodes, but we'll keep track of those as they come along.
Sorry. You watched the Jerry Springer documentary?
No, I have not watched it yet.
Okay.
But Jerry Springer was my thing. It was my thing growing up.
Okay,
so
when you watch it, you and I, we have to talk about it because I feel like yeah, just put that on.
But we we also have to talk about the Diddy documentary, right? Did you watch it? No, it's on Peacock. The Netflix one comes out in a few months. They're gonna have one on I said it on Twitter. I was like, this first one is starting the trend of the Diddy documentaries. Like we had the trend of the Michael and R. Kelly documentaries like 5 years ago.
Yes.
We're trying to get the trend of the Diddy documentaries now because Diddy Did It is coming out on Netflix. That's produced by 50 Cent. And then yes. You didn't know that? You didn't know 50 was producing a Diddy documentary? Because he's the most pettiest nigga of all time.
This is how I feel. Really, 50? Come on now, bro. Like,
yo, 50 gonna produce the rise and fall of Drake next.
Okay, now I watched that one. Okay, so I know so the documentary started with like TMZ first, right? They did like maybe like 3. They've done like 3 of them already, I feel like. Now we have on Diddy. Yeah, they've done like 3 documentaries, man.
I didn't know TMZ did that many. I just seen the Peacock one. The Peacock one was interesting because I did not know anything about the Kim Porter conspiracy. That this nigga killed Kim Porter. I did not know anything about that.
I'm gonna watch it.
I was kind of upset. I was kind of upset because I feel like certain documentaries are gonna have parts of his story that other documentaries aren't, and this one did not address anything about Shine.
And I think they forget about, like, if you're gonna do it, you got to do the whole like trajectory of like the whole thing from beginning to, at least with R. Kelly, it was consistent.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, it was pretty consistent. You had little kids at your house, son. Like, come on, both of y'all.
Nah. Like the R. Kelly one might be one of my like. I don't know. Like it's one of the like docu-series that I was like most invested in. Because I was about to say I loved it the most, but I was like, I don't want to love something like that. But I was the most invested in it. That was the most invested I've been in a docu-series ever.
I understand what you're saying. Basically, like it had you hooked, like the documentary from beginning to end just had you like, oh my God. So that's why I'm like, when you watch the Jerry one, like it's so good, it went like really dark, like, and that was it, and it's over. And we know Jerry Springer was more than just that, so that's what I'm saying. So when you watch it, let me know.
The last one I watched, the last docu-series I watched was on what was the name of the old manager of the Backstreet Boys?
Yes, I was. Oh,
you watched that one? You watched? Oh, I watched that one. Yo, me and Tia was like, what?
Yo, he had the Backstreet Boys. Was it NSYNC? And it was somebody else, right?
Yeah, our producer just put it in the private chat. Lou Pearl. Yeah.
Lou Pearl. Lou
Pearlman.
That was good. And I learned a lot about it.
I didn't know he managed both of them. He managed NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. I was like mind blown. I didn't know it was the same dude.
Nope.
And he fucking had them in like fucking child labor, going to other countries and shit.
Yep.
Like what?
Yep. And he knew nothing about the whole music business. He knew nothing. He had no like credibility of none of the stuff. But when you want to be a star, and some people, say I can make you a star.
I did not know Tubi got 3 of them.
Yes, Tubi is. Yep, Tubi got 3 Diddy documentaries. I think those are TMZ joints.
Oh my God. Yo, I've been missing out. I gotta get Tubi again. Yeah, yo, Bell just said it. That was the part of the R. Kelly one that was just like, yo, this shit been in my face this whole time.
It has been. The signs, especially the R. Kelly one, you be like, damn, we watched this whole thing from beginning to end. No, we dead ass
ain't
like
nothing but a number. I was
every
like,
song.
wait, what? I was like, what? I was like, why am I listening to this song for the first time?
I feel like when you hear things about this, it's like it really like fucks your mental life now, because it's like, yo, we really sat here and was like condoning the bullshit though.
It's because a lot of these docu-series recontextualize how you viewed your childhood. Like the one that really did that for me the most was the Nickelodeon one.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm watching that shit. I'm like, yo, what? I always wanted to be a Nickelodeon kid. Now I'm like, I feel like the biggest dumbass for ever thinking that when I was 10 years old.
I wanted to be on Nickelodeon. I wanted to be on was it Double Dare? That and then the
Double Dare and Figure It Out was my favorite ones.
Double Dare, Figure Out, and the something temples. What was it? The
Legends of the Hidden Temples.
That one. That's it. You saw
Guts
was
the other one for me.
Those are the shows you wanted to be on for that for those things. All that was pretty cool or whatever, but it wasn't like, it was like you wanted the competition show. Like you wanted to be on there, you wanted to win money. And these kids, it was like, yo, I could outrun that kid. Like, man, yo, he was.
Exactly. Me and my family can beat that family in Double Dare.
Exactly. It's like Family Feud, but for like younger kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's how we viewed it or whatever. Like that's how we saw it. And then the Nickelodeon just really fucked that all up.
Really just fucked us up. Valabi says, them dumbass kids who never know how to put together the shrine of the silver monkey. Yo, he just deep cutted us right there. That was a deep cut. That's a deep cut, Valabi. Yes. I hear those words and it just brought me back to a time in my life. Oh, Hey Dude. I remember Hey Dude, and I wanted to be on Wild and Crazy Kids. Cyclops is
yes. That was a good one.
Wild and Crazy Kids. Because I saw Omar Gooding on there. I was like, oh, black people can be on this shit too. Oh, this is dope.
And you once you seen a show, you seen like one or two black kids, you was like, oh yeah, we are sure, we there, we in there, we can do this.
I was like, oh, I gotta be on all that. I'm hilarious. I could be on all that.
And the stuff that they had all that kids do, you was like, yo, we was really like laughing at all this shit, and it was like.
Hey, did you ever go to Nickelodeon Studios?
No, I always went to go.
I went. My oldest nephew got slimed.
You always wanted to be slimed, even if it was like the nastiest shit you really
wanted. Like, yo, I can't believe as a kid how much I wanted to be slimed.
I wanted to be slimed so bad, but I'm like, like the
but yeah,
it got in your hair. Ew, like.
Don't. Man, Josh is gonna have to learn. You can't leave me and Krssi alone on these episodes of THH. Yeah. We go into these diatribes where we turn into a Nickelodeon podcast.
Sorry, guys. Okay, we're gonna stay on topic. Yes.
WWE SmackDown last night. You had the show featured Tiffany Stratton defeating Bayley in a very good main event to the show to retain the WWE Women's Championship in her first defense since cashing in the Money in the Bank. These two women showed out. Eventually, the crowd got into things in San Diego. But speaking of San Diego, you had to kick off the show. Rey Mysterio come out in front of his hometown. He declared for the men's Royal Rumble matchup, adding to the star power for the match coming up on February 1st, which led to Kevin Owens interrupting to ask Rey to pick him as the champion to challenge at WrestleMania. But Mysterio reminded KO he is not the champion, so KO attacked him to set up a match for later in the show. KO picked up the victory over Rey Mysterio in another very good matchup on this show. Post-match, you had KO went to deliver the package power driver to Rey, only for Cody Rhodes to come out to make the save, brawl with KO before he bailed. Backstage, Nick Aldis informed Cody that he and KO will give up their individual titles to be hung up at the Royal Rumble when they signed an amended contract for their ladder match at Saturday night's main event on January 25th, with Shawn Michaels serving as a special guest moderator in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. Bianca Belair and Naomi beat Candice LeRae and Nia Jax in a decent opener to the show. The Motor City Machine Guns picked up a victory over Los Garza in a fun bout from the tag team division. Jimmy Uso and Carmelo Hayes went to a no contest when the Bloodlines' Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga attacked both men. This led to Solo Sikoa returning for the first time since Tribal Combat. Hey, after getting booed by the fans repeatedly, Solo left without saying a word, which led into Jacob Fatu picking up the torch and the microphone to cut a terrific promo saying that he's not crazy. And the worst thing, the scariest thing, is that I'm just getting started. Yo, I was like, this dude is a beast. LA Knight came out to attack the Bloodline before the numbers got the better of him, only for Braun Strowman to return to make the save. This sets up LA Knight versus Tama Tonga next Friday, as well as Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman, first time ever, as Saturday night's main event. What did you think about Friday Night SmackDown last night, Krssi?
SmackDown was good. It's just long. It's
Way
too long.
They just drag. Everything gets dragged out in between stuff.
Got a lot of backstage segments. I'm not mad at the Jacob Fatu taking the mic. I was very happy to finally get in the crowd and do his thing. He's a star. But yeah, I just think SmackDown is just way too long for a 3-hour show, man. It's long, but not a bad show. Not a bad show.
It's because they have a roster that's made for 2 hours.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have been featured the last 3 weeks that usually wouldn't be featured. Los Garza, right? B-Fab, Apollo Crews. The tag team division in general would not be featured as much as it is if it wasn't for it being a 3-hour show now. So, yeah.
I'm not mad at seeing Apollo Crews, especially since, you had him at NXT. Bring up your singles guys. There's more people
his character is a snitch and nosy.
That being that, yes, true. And you're on television. What's the difference? I mean, I don't know.
Might be right.
What are you gonna do?
we got in the chat some I love you, I still love you, Solo.
Oh, the whole way like this is sit still. You want to run? What's happening?
He's like a rabid dog.
You look. What are you doing?
No, he's hungry? You ever seen the movie Booty Call?
Yes.
When Tommy Davidson has on the leopard.
Yes. That's exactly what it is. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to watch Booty Call now.
I got reminded of that. I got reminded of that movie a couple of weeks ago. That's one of the first rated R movies I ever watched.
Same.
Had the biggest crush on Vivica A. Fox.
She was very beautiful back then. Now, terrible. They gave Jamie Foxx that terrible haircut, but it's all right. It was funny.
Looked like he had worms on his head.
It damn sure did. But whatever.
Oh, we got some big news from this week, or some long news. Had to do with the very strange case of Corey Graves. WWE broadcaster Corey Graves joined the NXT broadcast team last week at NXT New Year's Evil. The commentary team switched up, with WWE opting to use Pat McAfee and Michael Cole on Raw, as WWE reportedly wanted McAfee's star power on the Netflix show. Meanwhile, Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett were given the booth on Raw. Graves was sent to NXT, and it appears Graves isn't happy with this development, as following this week's Monday Night Raw, he tweeted, "Imagine chasing your dream, then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and pretty fucking awesome at it. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, being told you're not famous enough for your own job. Just in case you've wondered where I've been. According to PW Insider, it appears Graves' comments are legit and are not a work. PW Insider reports there have been rumblings over the past several weeks that Graves was unhappy with his positioning in the company, which have now seemingly been confirmed by his social media comments. Former AEW and NJPW and WWE broadcaster Kevin Kelly responded to those initial comments, and he put me and at WWE Graves together at the desk. Corey would become the biggest commentary star in wrestling because I would actively try to get him over, let his star shine. Additionally, PW Insider notes that Graves was still scheduled to be part of the NXT broadcast on the CW despite his comments, which led to Corey writing earlier in the day on Tuesday, "I've got a lot to say. Don't miss at hashtag WWE NXT tonight on the CW tonight." Then it looked as if plans changed, as Corey Graves was no longer going to be doing Tuesday's NXT. According to PW Insider, Graves was seen at the Orlando airport earlier in the afternoon, and he was seen going through the TSA check-in in order to leave Orlando. It was previously reported by PW Insider that there was word that he was unhappy with being moved to the NXT brand and being part of a three-man booth with Big Joseph and Booker T. It was rumored that this was due to Pat McAfee going to Monday Night Raw. Fightful Select had even more details on Corey Graves' WWE status, saying the report mentioned that those close to Corey Graves confirm his genuine frustration. Graves resides in Pittsburgh area, not Orlando, and he missed rehearsals for NXT. It said that there were only 2 chairs at the NXT announce table during rehearsals. A source from higher management expressed surprise if Graves wasn't back on Raw or SmackDown by spring, especially since he has been praised for his adaptability and with his role and schedule. Many were taken aback to see him at New Year's Evil on January 7th, with one source suggesting he was there to call the show since he was already in town. Fightful also notes that Graves re-upped with WWE in January 2024. Dave Meltzer commented on the situation. According to Meltzer, the people he's spoken with in WWE are claiming what's happening with Graves is quote-unquote not an angle. Meltzer added that Graves hasn't been fired yet. Meltzer speculated that Graves deleting his X posts likely indicates that the announcer either had a change of heart or likely took them down as WWE request or else. Meltzer stated he took down his tweets, so the fact that he took down the tweets said that he may have either had a change of heart or they told him, you better take down your tweets or else. And maybe he didn't want to the or else. Meltzer stated that the issues with Graves and WWE likely stem from the announcing plans made last fall. The original plan for January was to have the announce teams featuring Michael Cole and Pat McAfee as the broadcast team for WWE Raw for the Netflix move. SmackDown was reportedly set to feature Joe Tessitore, who would move to SmackDown after a temporary stint as a play-by-play announcer on Raw, and Corey Graves starting in January. About 2 weeks ago, Meltzer stated he asked WWE about who the SmackDown announce team would be, and it would still be Graves and Tessitore. His source within WWE informed him that the answer was to be determined, and then reportedly Graves received word that Wade Barrett was going to replace him as a broadcaster on SmackDown, and Graves was said to be genuinely not happy about receiving the news. As for Graves' actions on social media, Meltzer stated that people within WWE believe Graves was trying to get fired, which is why he wrote the post. Meltzer speculated that if Graves is attempting to get fired by WWE, the company will likely not fire him because they wouldn't want Graves to go to AEW if they were to grant him a release from his contract. The rest of the letter has more details on the topic of events, saying that sometime last year, Graves was meant to move from Raw to SmackDown, where he would call the action with Joe Tessitore once Michael Cole went to Raw. However, WWE then decided that Wade Barrett would be on SmackDown instead. Graves went to NXT, and when he appeared, he looked visibly upset. There were some in the company who thought that his tweets were an attempt to get fired, but some sources suggested that he was trying to blur the lines and create fan interest. It actually might have worked, as the first quarter of Tuesday's episode of NXT, where he warned he had a lot to say, had an 883,000 viewership and 275,000 in the 18 to 49 demo for the first quarter, and had 827,000 viewers, 224,000 in 18 to 49 for the first 45 minutes. However, Graves was sent home and not on the call for the show. He also missed this week's WWE Speed. One source noted that the events with Graves are not a work at this time, and it was said that while Graves may be telling people it is, while it could be turned into one, it at least began as a shoot. What do you think about the strange case of the week that was for Corey Graves?
It's his feelings are justified. However, I think you guys got to stop being emotional writers and putting these things on the internet. I feel like and this is not just Corey Graves, I feel like it's a lot of celebrity people. I don't know what they feel like letting the world know that they have a grievance and they're upset and they're having a problem with their employer. I would love to go and say something about my boss or whatever, but I'm not going to go and write it on like Instagram or like Twitter or whatever. No one, to be honest, no one really gives a fuck about like how my feelings are against my boss. Let's just be honest. I understand he has a valid feeling. He has a family. And now you're like, okay, well, where am I supposed to work? Where am I supposed to be going? Like, my family is here, but you want me to be over here. How am I supposed to get there? And then like, who's like travel? Like, do I make my own flight? Like, what am I doing? Like, am I supposed to be in Florida? Like, these are like legit things. And this person has like, the baby's not a newborn, but it's still like, it's a baby. My wife is still at home taking care of our baby. I have two other children or three other children as well that I schedule around them too. So it's like, what am I supposed to do with my family? What am I supposed to see them? Like, these are all valid things. Like, okay, you don't want me to go to work this week? Okay, no problem. I understand y'all want Pat. I thought Pat was going to do it because of the whole college football stuff. But apparently Netflix said something otherwise.
Well, Pat, the college football season is pretty much done. He's going to miss this week's Monday Night Raw, but Wade Barrett is going to be filling in for him. So
I kind of like Wade better though, but whatever.
I think Wade is the best out of all three of them. If I had to rank all three of those color commentators, it would be Barrett 1. If I had to rank all the color commentators in WWE, it would be Barrett 1, Corey 2, Booker over Pat, because Booker is more entertaining. Pat is entertaining to a point. If I'm watching a 3-hour show, I'm done to that point. An hour and a half in.
He's good for the whole yeet, and then even with that, it's just like, okay, whatever. Like you that's cool. Like, I'm eating over here, everything is eating. Like, he just like, or whatever. Like, it's cool, it's cute, it was fine. But now it's like, what else can you do? What else can you do?
Yeah. What else can you do for me? What else can you do for me? Like,
so I get it. I understand the whole like premise of like his feelings are very valid. However, sir, I don't think you should have put it on the internet.
No. I think we have to take into account that his feelings and the way he's feeling about the whole situation is definitely valid. It's definitely legitimate. He shouldn't have been moved and kind of disregarded to NXT, becoming like the third man on the NXT. That's how you know you're fucking an afterthought, because you got put as a third man on the third brand.
On the third brand. Like, they didn't even say, hey, well, you could just stay on Fridays and just like do Friday show. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't even do that. They just said, no, we're just moving you all in general. You're like, well, why the hell I gotta be moved? Like, he could have easily sat with the three of them there. He's done it before, but I guess, Pat has his own like big character in itself. Like, I guess Corey, they felt Corey didn't have any need to like bring anything to the table. But I mean, you guys have done the three of them together before. So I was like, well, what's the difference now? And then
You've done it for the last couple of years at the Rumble.
Exactly. So I was like, now you didn't even like give him an option. You said, "Look, let's just bring Wade," which I'm fine with Wade. But you just like disregarded everything and just like, nope, he's gonna stay here. Okay.
Kind of wild. And I also consider the fact that he's had a long history that he's admitted he does not like Booker T. Like he's had issues with Booker T when they work together on the main roster. So you put him in a position where he not only is being moved away from the main roster television, so it's gonna feel like a demotion. He also have to work with someone he does not like.
You can be what's the guy that's in the back that's doing interviews now?
Byron Saxton.
You can be Byron Saxton. Listen, Byron Saxton had a whole seat before, and then they said, we're not even going to use him no more. No black guys at the table now.
Yeah,
except one.
But like Deion Jenkins, I think you're not being specific enough for Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee comes off like a fucking edgelord Twitter user fan that gets to do commentary. like Ian Riccaboni from ROH, and he was on AEW Dynamite a few weeks ago, and we complimented him on how well he did there. He's a knowledgeable wrestling fan who gets to do commentary. Pat McAfee is a fucking edgelord troll on social media doing content.
Damn.
I'm just calling it like I see it. I listen to the guy. I have to listen to the guy. So yeah, it's not a fan. A fan is too general of a statement. You have to get very specific with Pat. But that's not the only news from this week in regards to WWE or SmackDown talent. We got to talk about Tiffany Stratton now that she's WWE Women's Champion. And it seems the potential opponent for Tiffy time at WrestleMania 41 has been revealed, and it could be none other than Charlotte Flair.
I'm so excited for that.
Recently, it was reported.
Twin. That's so great.
Look at you! It's daughter versus mother. Recently, it was reported that Flair and Becky Lynch were both added to the WWE Eternal roster, with both expected to return imminently. With the upcoming Royal Rumble seeing the winner of the titular women's match being able to challenge Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship or Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship, Flair's name is being considered as a contender. WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass Q&A claims that Flair could be challenging Stratton at the April 19th and 20th WWE PLE. He said, and I quote, "The only rumblings that I've heard are Tiffany and Charlotte. I don't know if it's going to happen. I know that they've talked about it." It was previously reported that WWE planned to have Charlotte in the fold at the top of any women's wrestling when WrestleMania 41 takes place. And in a major update on last night's Friday Night SmackDown, WWE aired a video hyping up Flair's return, suggesting that it will be coming in the not so distant future, and there wasn't an exact date or time frame revealed. I feel like this is eerily similar to the vignettes that showed before Royal Rumble 2023, and then we found out like 2 weeks before that event that Cody Rhodes was returning in the Royal Rumble. I think probably next week's SmackDown we get a vignette that says Charlotte will be returning in the Royal Rumble as well.
I mean, I don't think we need any more vignettes. Just wait till we get to the Rumble. It's 2 weeks. We don't need no more vignettes.
I mean, they already showed the vignette. You can't just show one vignette and just be like, okay, that's it.
No. I mean, okay. All right, fine. Just show another vignette like she's on her way to like, where's the Rumble at? And then when she comes out, is it in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
The Rumble's in Las Vegas.
I thought that's why a lot of y'all weren't going, because that shit's gonna cost it's gonna cost the house, a mortgage.
Oh, you mean Mania?
Oh yeah, you were referring to the Rumble. Rumble's in Indianapolis.
Okay, yeah, just show Charlotte on her way over there. Like, I wouldn't announce her coming. That's more of the surprise. Even though we know she's coming, but I feel it gives it more of like the authentic pop that she deserves. That's all.
I think she'll still get the pop. And then Cody got a big pop when he came out. Just don't save him to the number 30 entrant, because that makes number 30 too predictable.
That's true.
they dumbasses did that for Cody. But earlier this month, Triple H confirmed that WWE Friday Night SmackDown will not be staying at 3 hours and will go back to 4 hours later this year. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the show will likely go back to that runtime in May or June. This would just be after WrestleMania, as the company currently feels they have enough material to keep it at 3 hours until then. They do not.
They do.
In an interview with 8 News Now, WWE President Nick Khan announced that the company will be holding an event in Paris, France, sometime this year. WWE visited France last year for Backlash, which was held in Lyon. He said, "You've seen international expansion for us with our biggest events, the premium live events in Germany and France coming up, which has not yet been announced. With Lyon last year in France, Paris upcoming, we're going to be bigger and better than we've already been, and we're excited to get there." So we'll see which pay-per-view gets Paris, France. You also had Bad Bunny this week allude to WWE possibly running a PLE in Mexico as well.
In Mexico this time? Oh, wow.
Mexico.
Nice. Well, Bad Bunny is doing his rounds. So he just had an album out. So I wouldn't be surprised if he do a little run with us for a little bit and then go do his thing.
I saw he did a performance with Jimmy Kimmel in the subway or something.
Yeah, see Jimmy Fallon in the subway. He had a mask on. I mean, he had his thing covered and didn't know. All of a sudden he did his whole full blown concert. It's pretty. Wish I knew about these things, man.
You know, why can't we be on the planning? Come on.
Yeah.
WWE
Subway series shows too. I got to be at one of those episodes.
You got to go into the DMs and be like, "Yo, let me know." Okay. WWE NXT this week, they did 779,000 viewers, so another big number for them. Last week's number that we talked about, where it was reported they did 957,000 viewers, that was a miscalculation apparently. They actually did 798,000 viewers last week. So they were only slightly down this week. Unfortunately, that 957,000 number makes the real number look very small. So no more mistakes, please. The show featured Roxanne Perez discussing what's next for her after losing the NXT Women's Championship, only to be interrupted by former NXT Women's Champion Bayley, who tried to give some advice to her real-life protege. Roxanne disrespected and slapped Bayley before the two women brawled to close the show. Fraxium defeated OTM in a very good main event to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. Shotzi beat to Stephanie Becker thanks to an assist from Fatal Influence to become the number one contender for Fallon Henley's NXT Women's North American Championship. Tony D'Angelo interrupted Oba Femi as Oba Femi had his first promo as NXT champion to remind him Tony D is the only man to beat Femi in NXT. Rich Holland came down to taunt Tony D, which led to a brawl between the two men, only for Oba to be attacked from behind by Eddie Thorpe to set up Eddie Thorpe versus Oba Femi for the NXT championship next week on NXT. So we'll see what goes down there. But the big news from WWE NXT this week had nothing to do with what actually went on the show, except for one note on the show, because during the show, you had Cora Jade was in action, and none other than the TNA Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich was there, which led into Thursday, January 16th, WWE and TNA Wrestling officially announcing a multi-year partnership, which continues the working relationship established last year between the two promotions. NXT superstars and TNA wrestlers will appear on WWE and TNA programming, including select WWE PLEs and TNA pay-per-views. The two have worked together in the past, but the relationship began in earnest last year when Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry made regular appearances for NXT. Grace also appeared in the Women's Royal Rumble match in 2024. It continued this past Tuesday when Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich was in the audience for NXT. WWE Hall of Famer and NXT executive producer Shawn Michaels commented on the news, saying the next evolution of an unprecedented partnership. Excited for our continued collaboration with This Is TNA and the invaluable opportunities it presents for the development of hashtag WWE NXT superstars and TNA wrestling stars from across multiple brands who commented on the announcement were former WWE and TNA Women's Champion Mickie James, former TNA World Champion Sami Callihan, former TNA World Champion and current X Division Champion Moose, reigning TNA Tag Team Champion Matt Hardy, Natalya, and former TNA Knockouts World Champion Naomi, plus a lot more, including Bayley, Ace Austin. So very huge news, official partnership between TNA and WWE. Will this actually work, though? Krssi Love, is my question to you. I think you're muted.
That's the thing I want to know. The partnership sounds great. Sounds good on paper. Sounds great for business. How is it being executed is the question. Or is everyone going to be like a thing where all of the WWE stars are going to win and they're going to just whoop all of the, TNA stars? Like you got to be like, how are we going to do this? You understand what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if I believe it as far as like the execution. I think it sounds good on paper. I think it's great for the business, but I don't know. I want to know how the execution is. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, we got to see how this will play out. I'm cautiously optimistic about what they can do together. I'm hoping that it benefits TNA. We saw the benefits of the TNA and WWE partnership in 2024. TNA had one of their more successful business years because TNA has really made that transition. They are not a TV wrestling company. Right. AEW's a TV wrestling company because most of their revenue comes from their partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery and their TV products on TBS, TNT, and Max. WWE is they have several lords that they are trying to serve. They're trying to serve TKO, which is the owner of both UFC and WWE. They're trying to serve Netflix with their new $5 billion deal. They're trying to serve USA with their multi-million dollar deal on SmackDown. They're trying to serve CW with their multi-million dollar deal with the NXT program on that station. So they are a TV wrestling program. Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling is not, because they're owned by the company, the network that they're on. The network does not pay them to produce their show. The network is putting money into their product because they own TNA. So it's totally different. They are more focused on selling tickets to their live shows, and that has translated due to this partnership. So if it continues to translate, they can run bigger buildings. They got the USB arena later this summer in July. They're running that arena for Slammiversary.
And that's a big arena. UBS
that's a 10,000 seater. They have not sold it. They have not sold a 10,000 seat building in ever. And when they were selling
and
like 8,000
nice space.
Go ahead.
It's a nice space, and I just think that for what they want to do, I hope they're not overthinking it, but I hope it's not the effect where we just see one side and it gives you the AEW thing and you just see like empty seats on one side. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, you can't do that for a pay-per-view. Can't do that for a pay-per-view. Can't. We got Frantic World. He says, so when WWE gonna buy TNA?
I mean, I don't think they're trying to do that right now. Later on, probably, but not right now.
Me and Jimmy talked about this in depth, and Jimmy had one of the funniest quotes. Literally, our co-host Josh messaged me last night and said, by the way, Jimmy was insane for that comment about WWE and TNA, because Jimmy on Thursday said that it's like a grown man working with a 7-year-old child. And I'm the one that said, motherfucker, TNA is a fucking daycare for WWE. Like, let's go send our kids over there. They can have some fun. They can play on the monkey bars. What is it called? The Ultimate X? Oh, that's great. Let them play on the monkey bars. Ultimate X.
Oh my God,
it's
I
a
can't.
good time. Y'all not a fucking school. Y'all developmental. Like select WWE PLEs. That means only NXT.
Yes. Okay, fine. I mean, the comment is correct though.
Yeah, I mean that is probably what most people believe is going to be the outcome of all of this. And I also said on Thursday, I think I told you and Josh originally about the whole rumor that I heard last year of TNA offered Tony Khan to buy the promotion before all of this went down, before they even started this whole partnership with WWE. So this WWE partnership is keeping them afloat, but for now. I am cautiously optimistic because every single partnership we have ever seen with WWE has benefited one person.
It's WWE. Always been one side. I'm about to say all of that has always been one-sided. Come on, guys. They should have probably went with AEW, but whatever. It is what it is.
No, I wouldn't say that for TNA. This is beneficial for them. Like TNA, if TNA is already on your deaf door or barely holding on, then you got to go with the hottest product possible in the industry you're in, and that's WWE.
What happens with Nick Menace? What happens with the people that was released and now is at TNA? What happens to them?
They continue to be in TNA.
Okay. Oh, like how we have like ROH. Okay, got it. Okay, so it's like a subdivision of like.
No, it's more like the AEW NJPW thing.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Except there's not that much of a gap between AEW and New Japan. There is a big gap between WWE and TNA. We know who wears the pants in that relationship. It's like if New Japan and AEW are in Japan, New Japan wears the pants over there. If they're in America, AEW wears the pants here. It don't matter where you go. WWE wearing the pants. They got on two extra pairs of pants. They got on pants that are not even your size. Right. TNA, like you can't even fit in their pants.
Oh gosh. Okay.
We got Power Driver Finisher also brings up a good point. He says, I mean, Scott D'Amore was trying to buy it, if I stand correctly. So I don't know if he was right about wanting to buy it. No, he was right. He was right. If they were looking to sell, then they should have let someone who's passionate about the product, who had the money to buy it, they should have sold it to him. Mm-hmm. No one loved TNA more than Scott D'Amore. No one. I don't know if I've ever forgiven TNA for last year for letting Scott go, because I thought that was the wrong decision then. I still believe it now. Well, we do have in the chat here Vala B with a super chat donation. You guys are killing it today. We're very close to our goal. We try to set now super chat goals for our podcasts and streams here. So we have a goal of 15 today. So we're halfway there. This is our 8th super chat. Thank you so much, Vala B. And if we are able to hit our goal, be doing another stream for y'all. Tomorrow I'll be doing a stream because we hit our goal on AE Ramble earlier this week. Vala B says, I look at WWE's TNA partnership the same way I look at Google playing Firefox to stay alive, so nobody sees Chrome as an anti-competitive monopoly.
I actually love Chrome, first of all.
I love Chrome too. I don't use anything else. I don't use
anything else but Chrome. Yeah, sorry. Like Chrome is like it. Like you can use Firefox, but Firefox they having some shit happening, so they're not consistent. So I used to always use that, and I was like, I'm done with this shit. Like I'm done. I'm over it.
So. Yo, that's actually a good idea though, Vala B. Vala B said, watch the UBS Arena main event be LA Knight versus AJ Styles or something. Yo, that'd be the best thing to do if you want to make sure you sell out the joint, is that you put a couple of WWE guys.
Stars in. Yes. Or have intermatches between the two brands, or a few of them. Yes.
And like it would make sense for the people that use from WWE to have some type of connection to TNA, especially that being the Slammiversary show. It's an anniversary show, so it makes sense to have two former TNA world champions like LA Knight and AJ Styles.
Yes.
We got Dion Jenkins who says they're not going to keep running it. They already have enough shows. We also got Will Chisholm. He says at least Noah got AJ Styles and Marigold got Io Sky. Who TNA getting? They're getting all the scraps. They're getting all the NIL talent. All the NIL talent go. Like I said on Thursday, Noah and Marigold are fucking foreign exchange students. They're fucking foreign exchange for the school that is WWE. For TNA is a fucking daycare where they gonna drop their kids off. Kids that have only been wrestling for a couple of months. Let's go drop them in TNA. Learn the ropes. Developmental to the developmental. I do think that
to developmental. So let's go there for a day. My mom and dad go to work.
Short term, it is going to be beneficial for TNA because they'll have the buzz that they've been getting from 2024. But long term, I think we all know how this is going to go now.
Yes.
Then you got we had AEW Dynamite Maximum Carnage. Let's go over to Converse now. Maximum Carnage this week. The show did 679,000 viewers on TBS. I don't know why our producer decided to put his Maximum Carnage Sega Genesis game here. The show featured Jon Moxley defeating Powerhouse Hobbs in a rock-solid main event to retain the AEW World Championship. Post-match, the Death Riders jumped Hobbs and Pillmanized his previously injured leg before Rated FTR came down to chase off Moxley and the Death Riders. Kenny Omega made his in-ring return in a win over Brian Cage in a very good opener to the show. Post-match, the Don Callis family jumped Omega until Will Ospreay made the save. However, the AEW International Champion Konosuke Takeshita came down to stare down and brawl with Omega, and this brawl ended with Kyle Fletcher delivering a brainbuster to Ospreay and Takeshita giving the Raging Fire to Omega to stand tall. MJF once again interrupted Jeff Jarrett to disparage the living legend, even insulting his wife, which led to Jeff Jarrett coming up with a very creative response to call Max's mom and his poor girlfriend call girls. Hookers. Ladies of the night, floozies, if you will. The two men brawled until Karen Jarrett came down and MJF took her as a hostage before bailing. The Hurt Syndicate beat Mark Briscoe and Private Party in a solid trios match. Hook defeated Christian Cage via disqualification. Post-match, you had the Patriarchy jumping Hook until Samoa Joe returned to make the save to a huge pop. And then finally, you had Tony time. Tony Storm won an exciting women's casino gauntlet that saw the debut of Megan Bayne in AEW, who looked great. Storm will now face Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship on Saturday, February 15th at Grand Slam, Australia. What did you think about Wednesday's Maximum Carnage edition of AEW Dynamite?
The show was going well until MJF and Jeff Jarrett segment. Sorry.
What did you not like about it?
It was very cringy. You didn't cringe when you heard them both? I was like, why?
Not both. I've been very adamant about this. I said this on Ramble. I said this on social media. Yeah, we need to admit that Jeff Jarrett was the problem with this segment. It wasn't Max. Max tried. And we expect Max to go for the low-hanging fruit, to make fun of Jeff Jarrett's wife.
But also,
we don't expect elder statesman, sympathetic babyface Jeff Jarrett to call a 26-year-old woman a fucking whore.
I sat here, I'm like, first of all, why are we even doing this with Jeff Jarrett? What are we doing? It's like the whole, like, now it's like Chris Jericho. Now you're forcing us to watch this. You're forcing us to look at something that we really don't give a damn about right now. Show me the wrestlers that we care about. No one cares about this. I'm sorry. He's a legend and it's great. And we know he's not winning any damn title. I'm just telling you that right now. What title he's winning? Not one.
I would.
If you believe that, then there's something wrong with you.
I hope AEW isn't that stupid. But I'm gonna be praying for that, because I'm losing hope that they're not that stupid. Jeff Jarrett has got more promo time than anyone in AEW. He has double the promo time of anyone else in AEW to start off 2025.
We don't need that. No, please. We don't. Great for Jeff Jarrett. Bring Jay Lethal, please. If we're gonna have
Lethal talk for you.
Thank you. I'd rather have Jay Lethal speak. Just saying.
We got a couple of comments in regards to Dynamite this week. Davion said, "Big Kenny is back. Let's fucking go." Love seeing Kenny back, and no one sells ring rust like Kenny Omega. Because if you saw him against Gabe Kidd, he's not rusty. But he sold that shit well during that matchup against Brian Cage.
Yep. For sure.
Call me Mr. Bonda also commenting, saying Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita. Fire emoji. Yes. Grand Slam. If that's one of the main events, sign me up.
So good. So good.
Davion saying Deaf Riders mission statement, white man babble, and we love the smell of custodial cleaner. I mean, they've totally lost the plot on the Deaf Riders completely.
Now what you said last week, it's now becoming like it's a thing. Like it's happening we have to let it go now. Like no one even cares about like Jon Moxley, and which I would have never thought I would be even saying right now. But the whole scenario of like that whole faction is not like I don't know if it's supposed to be like a Judgment Day type of group or whatever, but it's not working and it's not coming off good. It's just bad in itself. Like Pac is
his
there,
original.
He looks like he's not even supposed to be there. Like it's just a lot of shit happening.
The original premise of the whole story was Moxley felt like there were so many people in AEW who were complacent and he hated what AEW had become. And he was here to burn it all down and rebuild AEW as a new AEW in his vision under the Death Riders. But that whole mission statement and them controlling things and being the focus of the company ended about 2 weeks after the Wrestle Dream angle, when they murdered Brian. Like it didn't last that long. They never paid it off. They've totally lost that plot of it, because you literally had Moxley attack and injure the hand of Isaiah Cassidy and attack Private Party, because Private Party were the example of somebody who had been complacent and staying in the same spot for 5 years. He attacks them. He basically lights a fire underneath them, which gives them the motivation to go after the Young Bucks and win the tag team titles. And then it's never mentioned.
Yeah.
It's never fucking mentioned.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia came back to the company. He wanted to fight for the company. He was one of the guys who were out there after Brian got attacked at Wrestle Dream. Said that he wanted to fight for the company. He was calling out the Elite for not fighting for the company that they created. He said that he needed to take the title and he needed to represent the company in the best way possible. He's won his title, totally forgotten about the Death Riders. Doesn't even acknowledge them.
I mean, you're right.
It's like they're doing the story, but at the same time they're not doing the story, which makes it one of the most frustrating things I think AEW has ever produced.
True.
So frustrating. And don't worry, the frustration is gonna keep going, because we got some news to bring up. But I did want to mention Deion Jenkins also saying my boy Samoa Joe is back. It just feels like we're starting to get this roster healthy again.
We getting these the big guys are coming back.
Yes.
Damn, can you imagine Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay? oh my God.
I'm here.
Sign me up.
I was happy that he came out to help out Hook and didn't try to go get revenge on Chris Jericho. I'm just happy about that. Give me Samoa Joe versus Christian Cage all day, every day. One of my favorite TNA rivalries right there. But I told you we would talk more about the Death Riders and the whole angle and where it's leading to. I think we've all known since the angle started that the end of this angle would probably be Darby Allin dethroning Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. However, I don't think any of us intended on it being longer than half of 2025. Fightful Select reports that Darby Allin is set to take time off from All Elite Wrestling and hasn't been on the road with the company. He's not expected back for months as he started training for his climb of Mount Everest. His last match was on December 22nd, Dynamite, against Ricochet in a time limit draw in the Continental Classic. He was then written out of storylines when the Death Riders kicked him down a flight of stairs. It's believed that Allin will get a push when he comes back, but that likely won't happen until the spring. However, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Allin leaving was always part of the plan, and the dates have been known for some time. Everything that led to his absence was part of the long-term plan for him in AEW. It was said to be a way for the Death Riders to get heat by beating him up multiple times. Darby Allin has previously said that he hopes to be back before AEW All in Texas in July. My question to you, Miss Krssi Love, with the audience seemingly at its wit's end with this storyline, will the fans be willing to let this story play out to culminate in July at All In, with Darby Allin finally beating Moxley for the AEW World title? But if you think AEW can't risk completely losing their fan base, who should be the next AEW World Champion?
I would say, okay, long drawn out. It'll be great. He'll do his thing. He'll come back. He'll come and he'll fight Moxley. We're putting a pin in it. It'll be a great pop because we didn't forget that he got thrown down the fucking staircase and damn near died. So that's fine. Will Moxley still be champ though? Like, do we have to be like? We don't need him to be champ though. Like, I think we need to get the belt off him like now.
This is a time you have to listen to your audience. The audience, the fan base right now feels like it's just pleading with Tony Khan to take
it off. Yeah.
To not do this storyline. You've already ran out of ideas. You've already lost the plot on the story. The only way to adjust course or to change course now is to get the title off of Moxley. I don't think this story has the legs to make it to July.
No.
To make it to July and to make Darby's moment feel like as big as it should be, this story is not it. Like I've already said, I think I said this on Thursday, but I feel like you're gonna have to either you have a Revolution. It seems like we're getting Mox and Copeland. If I'm Tony Khan and I'm listening to the fan base, I have Copeland beat Mox and Christian immediately cashes in.
Yes, and he's the champ.
And then he's just a transitional champ. And then you have Christian drop the title to Omega at Double or Nothing.
Yes, I agree. Do that. Because first of all, we need the cash in. The cash in has been supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Let him be a champ for 2 weeks or is that a month away between the two events?
Oh, between what? Between which event?
What's our next paper? What's the time frame between the two?
Well, we have the Mag special, which is going to be Grand Slam on February 15th. Then we got Revolution is March 9th.
Okay. And All In is in May, though.
All In is in July. Double or Nothing is in May.
So, okay. So, are we saying Christian Cage is the champ for what, about 2 months?
2 months.
Okay.
2 months. He could do a match with Copeland for the world title at Dynasty, or do a triple threat with Moxley at Dynasty where he retains, and then he faces Omega at Double or Nothing, and he drops the title to Omega there.
Okay, that doesn't sound bad. But we got to get the title off of John like right now.
Yeah.
It's so
you got to cut bait, because you're doing nothing but damage to Moxley in general.
And I would have never thought I'd see John Moxley like this.
Facts. And this is the
Even
biggest
the whole
point.
faction.
This is the biggest point, though, Krssi, what we got here in the chat, what Alex Powell said, because Jimmy McAram has said this on numerous occasions. This company has 2 draws, and one of them is Kenny Omega. Because Kenny, he did over 800,000 for his opener on Wednesday.
Yeah.
800,000. He's doing 2022 numbers for his quarter. Like he always gets the bump up. Him and MJF are the 2 draws in this company. They always get a bump up whenever they're involved in a segment. And they're always positioned as either the main event, the top of the second hour, or the open of the show, because they are the draws. You got to put this title on a draw. Moxley is not a draw for this company right now, especially in this current state. And like you said, especially in the state of what the Death Riders are.
So you have to put it back on your next big star, which has just came back. So like you said, have the heel work with Christian Cage come through. We need the cash in. Let him cause a whole bunch of havoc for 2 months. And then we need to have Kenny Omega be this top star of this company. Let's draw back people to come back to keep watching the show and weekly events. Because it's missing something. And Max needed their money. So you got to figure that shit out.
It's missing a spark. The world title scene is just missing a spark. And the champion is definitely missing that spark. Myron Kidd says AEW title not being shown on TV has killed the prestige of that title. Wouldn't go that far, but when you have the most beautiful world title in pro wrestling and you decide you want to put it in a fucking briefcase for 8 months, that's outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is booking malpractice of the highest order. Everything involving this angle just doesn't feel well thought out. Mm-hmm. And it really just this storyline and the fact that it feels like, yes, he has a plan. He's going to follow through with it. It does not matter if the thing is over or not. He's going to be like, la, 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 la to the fans and just do what he wants to do. This is making me feel like I'm watching 2019 WWE. He's really Tony Khan. The more this story goes on, the more Tony Khan is transforming to Vince McMahon. In all the worst ways possible when it comes to wrestling, not as a human being.
Not as a human being. Okay, got it. Okay. You have to establish those things first.
Yeah, you have to. You have to with Vince. Anytime you mention Vince, you have to establish what you're referencing. We got Davion who says Darby Allin cares more about being a bootleg Tony Hawk than becoming AEW World Champion.
No, that's not about being fair. Yeah. He already had the Mount Everest thing planned. He just got injured, and that delayed it. So now that he's back better, it's time and money, and he has to get this done.
Exactly. He already paid for it. Like y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Don't do that. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that, Skip. Like if he couldn't follow through on the storyline because he needs to be in a skateboard contest, then you could say that. No, climbing Mount Everest costs a lot of money. If you want to do it, you have to be dedicated to doing it and motivated to do it. So and this is something that he's had planned since last year when he got hurt. When he got the foot injury. Tony Khan knew this. This is Tony Khan's fault. Do not punish Darby Allin for fucking Tony Khan's stupidity. He's a fucking idiot. Like, why does this keep going? I'm gonna have nothing but gray hair by July. What the fuck are we doing?
We have to have this. This is a rant.
Because I love Darby Allin. I don't want to talk about Darby Allin in any type of negative light. So that's why I want to make it clear. The issue with this whole thing is not Darby Allin climbing Mount Everest. It's the fact that Tony Khan doesn't know how to pivot when something's not working.
It's the team that they have around them. They're not that the adjustment of it all. Like they just don't know how to adapt, or they don't when they make a decision. What happens after the decision? They only worried about when they make the decision and how it's going to affect others. They don't worry about the after effect of it all. How are we going to book them? What are we going to do? What feuds are going to do? How many people are going to be involved in this feud? What are we going to say about it? Are they going to change music? Are they going to do this? Like you don't have the next steps, and that's for both of them.
Like I feel like they said at the beginning of this angle, okay, we're going to have Moxley beat Bryan, and then Moxley will eventually lose the title to Darby. And instead of the wrestling booker who usually would go and do that, they would do that. They would be like, hey, let me get the beginning and then let me get the end, and then I'll work my way back, and then we'll have the whole story planned out from the beginning. No, he just did the first two parts and then just forgot to do everything in between. And he's like, we're just going to figure it out as we go along. We'll just figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
we'll
damn
just throw
problem.
this guy in there. Yeah, like nothing feels planned out except for the beginning and end of this whole story. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Davion. That was not directed at you directly. It was more of me expressing my frustration that people will take someone who sees the issue with Darby Allin being gone until July is that the Death Rider story is not working, and Tony Khan seems to not be listening to his fan base to know that it's not working and being able to pivot the story in some way. I'm frustrated with that. I'm not frustrated with you, Davion, not frustrated with anything you said. You're a good brother. We got YKK who says, don't know about the TV segment ratings, but the Death Riders do some of the best numbers on AEW's YouTube channel. That is true, but that's literally the case with any former WWE act in AEW. They all do pretty big numbers. The Death Riders have done the best numbers since they all started. And you can still continue the Death Rider story. Just get the world title off of Jon Moxley. Him losing the world title does not need to be the end of the story of the Death Riders. If you think the Death Riders are doing well for you as far as social views, then continue that story. Fine by you. But you don't need to hold the world title hostage to tell this story.
Yeah. They just have to take the Death Riders can still be them. Or you just like have Mox just, disappear. That's how they used to be when we used to when William Regal left. They were still the same BCC.
Yeah.
So, it's okay.
We got more news. Another big news point over the last couple of weeks has been Malakai Black, especially, last week we talked about the report coming out that he was leaving AEW, that he's believed to be done with the company as will be a free agent either in February or March. In the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that the backstage reaction to Black's upcoming departure has been surprisingly positive. He noted that Black will not be on TV again for AEW. He said that everyone has acts backstage all had the same story, and their reaction was that it was good. Sources also noted that Black worked hard, but he wanted to go back to WWE, and it was clear that he wanted to go back. It was decided it wasn't worth it to put him on TV, especially if he wasn't comfortable losing. There is believed to be interest in WWE in reacquiring Malakai Black once he is free from AEW. PW Torch has now revealed that Malakai Black has quote-unquote influential people in WWE in his corner for a potential return. The report goes on to note that his supporters see him as a quote-unquote possible top singles star in WWE, with it being suggested that Black sees the landscape as more palatable under Triple H than during Vince McMahon's creative tenure. However, Black has also previously told some people in AEW that he was burned out and wanted time away from the ring, even going so far as to mention the possibility of retirement. With the leader of the House of Black faction leaving, it now appears that the remaining members will be going their own way after events on the January 11th episode of AEW Collision. On January 15th, Brody King filed a trademark for a potential new faction name of the Hounds of Hell. So this could potentially become the new name for the former House of Black. My question to you, Miss Krssi Love, what do you think is Malakai Black's ceiling if he does return to WWE? And do you think he could potentially become a top star for the promotion?
He could be a top star, but they're not going to let him be a top star. That's the thing.
Why do you say that?
The farthest he's been was a mid-carder. Will they give him okay? I don't know if they'll give him the same like Damian Priest effect if that makes sense.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I can see him. Yeah, I can see him getting a similar push to Damian Priest.
Okay.
I could see him like feuding with like the Seth Rollins of the world, your Cody Rhodes, your CM Punks.
Yes.
Because I feel like if you come from AEW to WWE, that is the best chance that you have to get a higher position than where you were before, because everyone on the main roster outside of Jade, really, because they feel like they're still trying to mold into what she's going to become. Everyone who's come to the main roster has come back to a higher position if they were on WWE prior, or they're being used more often than they were in AEW in Andrade's case. But
yes,
Cody Rhodes is the biggest babyface in the company, and he wasn't that in AEW.
And then we're gonna have that's true. That makes sense. But and he's gonna go to Aleister Black, I'm guessing, correct?
Yeah, they're probably moving back to Aleister Black.
Okay, fine. We can make the Aleister Black thing very good. I mean, I'm sad that he never got the recognitions and things that he did besides being in a trios group. Because he did great. He gave great matches. He's always done that. Okay, let's just be honest. One thing you're gonna get from him is a good ass match. I don't think I can't say we've ever seen a bad match from this man.
I mean, just sometimes he just seemed lazy. He seemed like he wasn't trying.
Fair. That's fair. Fine. However, when you call him to come and do what he needs to do, he's checked in. If what I'm saying makes sense. Once you say, hey, I need you to come out there and I need you to give a banger, I got you.
Yeah.
No problem.
He could be count on for that. Yeah.
So for him to Aleister Black comes back now, give him like straight mid-card, like I guess beat Shinsuke. But like you said, have him go against the people that used to be there. CM Punk's, Cody's. Cody's not dropping his belt right now, but he can lose to, he can lose to Cody without like even looking back.
But even challenging for the WWE Championship is probably the highest spot he's ever been given in that company.
Yeah.
So even if he comes back and he gets a shot at the WWE Championship, they can already said this run is better than his past run.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, you've convinced me, because he's never even gotten that far into it.
Yeah.
And even if you have a one-off with CM Punk, it's not going to be a world title, but it's still going to be something credible and meaningful.
So there is a lot of top guys that we don't know have a position for WrestleMania. Like we've heard the matches of your Punk and Romans, your Cody and Cena and stuff like that. But there's a lot of other top names that needs a matchup. Who would you put Malakai Black against if he does return to WWE before WrestleMania? The person who came to my mind initially is I would want Malakai Black to come in, give him his own theme song, and I think that he will be a babyface initially when he comes back to the company. You can eventually turn him heel. You can have him come in and be a heel, but I think that you should initially expect the fans to cheer him because he's a past star returning, and he also had a couple of years in AEW, so that's going to add to his pop. Malakai Black versus Drew McIntyre.
I was going to say that was my first one. Easy. Because he is two big guys. They both can wrestle. They both can do a good run. I mean, you put Drew with anybody, to be honest. I think Drew is that guy.
Drew cooks every time.
I think Drew is that guy now, that go-to guy. Like, hey, Drew, I need you to do this. No problem, I got it.
I got you. Don't worry.
Yep. I think him and KO are the two go-to guys.
Yeah. Their characters can just work with anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can just put them with anyone, and they're gonna make it golden. Like, I think this is some of KO's like best like work, like promos and talking. I think this is some of his best work.
Agree with you
there. His partner, on the other hand, it's the same. You would say pony show or whatever, but it is what it is.
Same dog and pony show. Do you believe Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Julia Hart will receive a push with Black's departure from AEW as the Hounds of Hell? I think that if I'm Tony Khan, you should definitely do that.
You should.
You should give WWE. You should give WWE and the people going to WWE the same treatment WWE gonna give to you. They gonna push Penta to be petty to you and be like, we can present him better than you did. You should be like, oh, now that you're gone, I can present the House of Black a lot better without you.
And let the three of them shine, especially now that Julia is back. We already know what Buddy could do. We already know what Brody could do. They all are good heat. Have them cause like freaking havoc or whatever. They could do something better than the Death Riders could.
Facts. I would love to see Hounds of Hell and the Hurt Syndicate for the tag team titles later this year.
Yes.
Book it.
Book it. The chops that's between the two of the four guys. Oh my God.
But when it comes to AEW, their mistreatment of the Death Riders is not the only thing that they're having issues handling. They're having mighty issues handling their upcoming Grand Slam event. During Wednesday night's episode of AEW Dynamite, AEW confirmed that the broadcast details for Grand Slam Australia next month, with rookie Toni Storm scoring an upset victory in the Casino Gauntlet. She will now face Mariah May at the event. When the match graphic was displayed, it revealed the event will air at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on February 15th on TNT and Max. Since the event happens at 5:30 p.m. Australian time, which is 2:30 a.m. Eastern, that means it will air on a tape delay. The airtime also means that it will take the place of the February 15th episode of Collision. That could change as TNT will be airing NBA All-Star Weekend events that weekend. So they announced a time and date that will definitely not be on TNT, because that's when the slam dunk and three-point shooting contest will take place. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the current plan is for AEW to air Grand Slam after the NBA coverage. It was noted that this will give the program a huge lead-in. It will also end up airing very late. The actual event starts at 2:30 a.m. Eastern on Friday night, which means that if AEW Grand Slam Australia airs on Saturday, it would have a 21-hour or so tape delay. It's unknown if Max will have it on the same time as TNT or will air it live. Meanwhile, NXT Vengeance Day is also expected to happen that day at the same time as the NBA All-Star Weekend. It's unknown if WWE plans to move it or not. Dear Lord, this is not fucking rocket science, AEW. Air the fucking thing live on Max and then just replay it on TNT. If you're already gonna run it late on Saturday, why the fuck not?
It's really not hard. We already know when you are already in another country from the US, you just air it live whatever time that stuff is on.
This is not that hard. Like this is one of those issues for AEW where I'm just shaking my head. I'm just like,
Like, why are you making it harder than it already is?
You're
like,
making it so much harder for yourself than you need to make it. Like, come on, guys. It's not rocket science. Air the shit live on Max. People will watch it. I guarantee you'll have people in America waking up at 2:30 a.m. Eastern to watch
like
the shit.
Like they do for New Japan. We do it all the time.
Do it all the time. Just like
we woke up for Saudi shows.
Saudi shows. The Elimination Chamber was in Australia last year.
Yep.
And Davion, I agree with you. It's less likely people are staying up late to watch NBA All-Star and the AEW back-to-back. It's more likely they will wake up on Friday night at 2:30 a.m. than they will watch NBA All-Star and AEW.
Right. That is a whole fact. We're going to wake up early, take a nap, and then watch the stuff after the other stuff. It's easy.
It's one show. Let's not overthink this. This feels like a situation AEW just overthinking.
Way overthinking. It's okay.
Megan Bayne made her return to AEW Wednesday night episode of Dynamite, appearing in the Women's Casino Gauntlet. Fightful Select reports that while she just appeared on that show, she has been signed to AEW for a while. She hasn't appeared, however, for a year and a half. She has been signed for the entire time she was gone and competing in Stardom. This is despite rumors that she was a free agent at one point. It's believed that Bayne will remain on AEW TV moving forward. What did you think about Megan Bayne on Dynamite this week, Miss Krssi Love?
She looked like a star. I love the whole aesthetics. Everything looked amazing. I was like, oh, another big girl. Shout out to the tall big girls. Hey. She was doing her thing. I loved it. I at first I was like, who the hell is this? And then I was like, oh, forgot all about her.
She's like, you have my attention now, miss.
Right.
Yeah, I love the lady horses in there. Yeah, yes. Willow, Stat, Jamie, and Megan in there.
Yep. Tony, all of them.
And then you got Julia, who works like a lady horse, even though she's like 4'1".
It's okay though. That's fine. We got it though. It's okay. All good.
We got almost 200 of y'all watching right now. We are going down the home stretch. We appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're here every Saturday, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time, talking everything in pro wrestling. We're finishing up with AEW. Got some New Japan and TNA to discuss as well, but we're going to finish things off with AEW with Collision last Saturday. They did 337,000 viewers. The show featured an awful main event. Chris Jericho defeating Dax Harwood, which was one of the most terrible endings to a Collision main event, I think, in the show's history. Post-match, the Learning Tree jumped Dax until Adam Copeland and Cash Wheeler came out. However, the Death Riders came out to attack rated FTR, but this led to the Outrunners, and then finally Powerhouse Hobbs running wild to make the save, putting Wheeler Yuta through a damn table. You also had on this show Cope. He picked up a win over Big Bill in a rock-solid opener. Later in the show, Brody King picked up a squash win, squash victory. And then later in the show, post-match, Cope interrupted a backstage interview to give Brody a pep talk to step up. We also had Mariah May picked up a victory over Harley Cameron in a non-title match. Some hot girl graps. Hangman Adam Page cut a fantastic promo to set up his Texas Death Match for Collision Maximum Carnage tonight. Pac defeated Commander in a very good matchup, while Daniel Garcia defeated Katsuyori Shibata in a great encounter to retain the TNT Championship. Man, that main event ruined my whole taste for this Collision episode. The Collision episode was going very well until that goddamn main event. Why would you think putting Chris Jericho in a main event of a show was a good idea?
Because Chris Jericho said so.
You know, you have a point. Chris Jericho seems like he has a lot of stroke in this goddamn company.
His dick is on the table.
Speaking of which, Chris Jericho will be in the main event on tonight's episode of Collision, because last Saturday, AEW president and CEO Tony Khan announced a new 12-man tag team match scheduled for this week's AEW Collision Maximum Carnage. The match will feature the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, teaming up with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith, against a team of Rated FTR, Powerhouse Hobbs, and the Outrunners. This match announcement garnered a great deal of criticism from the AEW fan base, with many fans believing this bout does not make any sense, and the company having completely lost the plot on this Death Rider storyline. I will ask you, Krssi Love, probably in a different way than I asked you earlier. Do you think AEW and Tony Khan have totally lost the audience and need to change the course of their main program?
Yes.
So how do they do that? Is it just getting the title off of Moxley? Do you think that's the big solution that they need to do? Or is there a possible way they can pivot with Moxley still as champion?
They could pivot as Moxley, but do we want to? I don't think the fans really want to see it anymore. I think that's what it is. I think they've checked out now. So I feel like we need to just like wipe it off and have a whole like new clean slate at this point in the game. Even when you did the whole like change of like the look of the whole thing, the whole show, it still is the same show though. You understand what I'm saying? It still looks and feels like, oh, okay, regular Dynamite, regular Collision. You know, it's the same MO. I think we need to wipe it off a clean slate and try something as a new, because right now it's not resonating with everyone. It's not hitting. I don't know if that's how do we do that. I think we need to like look at who we have as like our roster and see who can go out there. Like I think we need to strip mostly all of the main people with belts. Private Party, Moxley. They're not getting off of Mercedes right now, unfortunately. So
I think Mercedes is one of the few champions in this company that's actually booked
but now she's being booked better now.
Yeah,
I think she's done. I think she's,
once they took Camille away from her, they got it right.
So you think it was Camille's fault though?
No, I don't think it's Camille's fault. I just think they didn't know how to book her with Camille.
Got it. Okay. Like her with muscles. She's usually like by herself. So now she's babysitting someone that's bigger than her. So, I mean, hey. But yeah, I think we need to like start off a whole new and like Death Riders, we can have this faction. However, I feel like we need to like let them cause havoc in a different way. Because right now, what you've proven to us, no one believes it.
Yeah, and having the Death Riders who are against all the silly shit in AEW teaming with the Learning Tree makes absolutely fucking no sense.
And that in itself, the Learning Tree is a whole like joke. It was fun for a while, but now it's just a whole joke.
Yeah, you just put your two worst factions in the main event of tonight's show. Yep.
And maybe Jon Moxley has a clause in his thing where he gets to just do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Yeah. And I think like people want to say, oh, AEW's dying or the whole company's bad.
I don't think it's dying. No,
and the whole company's not bad. Like what's going on with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Don Callis family? That's fun. That's engaging. That's entertaining. I like that stuff. The women's division, the women's Casino Gauntlet. That was a whole bunch of fun. You had a whole bunch of stories being told. Jamie Hayter and Julia Hart, Willow and Statlander becoming friends again. Tony Storm, the rookie, and debuting Megan Bain, Harley Cameron rising up and stuff like that. They have a whole bunch of characters. And the pops that we got for Willow and Tony Storm on this show, get behind those two ladies. Yep, those are the two ladies you need to get behind in the women's division, along with Chris Statlander. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on in AEW. Right there, but like the dark cloud that is Moxley as world champion and the Death Riders and Chris Jericho, like that sometimes overshadows all the good.
Chris Jericho overshadows everything. Not almost. It's everything.
In someone that Chris Jericho needs to take a cue from, a new report has a spoiler on an AEW star who is effectively retired from the ring. As reported Thursday night, this is a spoiler for tonight's Collision, so sorry in advance. Christopher Daniels is going to lose to his Texas death match to Hangman Adam Page. Fightful Select reports that the match was intended to serve as Danielson's last match in wrestling, and that he is effectively retired from the ring now. The report notes that Christopher Daniels has been seeking to work his last match and officially retire for a while. The AEW star puts an end to a 32-year in-ring career that included working for AEW, NJPW, ROH, TNA, WWF, WCW, ECW, AAA, NWA, AJPW, NOAH, 01, MLW, CMLL, and many, many other promotions. Christopher Daniels is a bona fide legend, and in my eyes, the greatest wrestler to never win the TNA World Championship, because when you think of TNA, you're always going to think of Christopher Daniels, and the fact that he never won the world title is a damn shame.
It's like Charles Barkley.
The Charles Barkley of TNA wrestling.
There you go, friend.
Two bald opinionated guys. There you go.
That didn't win anything.
That didn't win a goddamn championship. That makes me want to watch the Collision Maximum Carnage just to see Daniel's last match. Yeah. And thank you so much, Davion, for this sweet comment in the chat. He says, thank you, SP3 and Krssi, for being the two positive and informative people in the wrestling community. That's very nice. Thank you. We also got in the chat here a bunch of comments about the Deaf Riders. Davion saying Deaf Riders were beating up jobbers that wouldn't even have a spot on WWE Velocity. There you have it. And Christopher Daniels, absolute legend, says Power Driver finisher. Thank you so much, Power Driver. Other news notes to end off AEW this week. You had Saraya has not been on AEW television in months. She recently explained why in a social media post. A fan replied to her that it was why she was wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, and a fan replied, why Tony doesn't put you on TV. Saraya replied, you're so moronic. I asked for time off for the first time in my life for personal reasons, and Tony was gracious enough to give me that. Also, I'm a 32-year-old woman. I can wear whatever the fuck I want. Go tell him, Miss Saraya.
Right. I can wear Stone Cold if I want to.
As previously reported, Peacock listed the dates for the next 3 editions of Saturday Night's Main Event, 2 of which were believed to conflict with AEW events. One show will be held on July 12th, which is the same date as AEW All in Texas. The other is set for May 24th. This is Memorial Day weekend, when AEW typically holds Double or Nothing. The company also usually holds that pay-per-view on a Saturday. However, the Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that AEW has not announced a date for this year's Double or Nothing at this time. In addition to that, it is believed that this year's show was planned for a Sunday, as AEW has been holding pay-per-views on Sundays outside of the football season. AEW typically does not announce dates for shows more than a few months in advance, unless it's something like All In. The last time AEW announced a series of events months in advance, WWE ended up announcing a live event in Orlando the same night as World's End. WWE outdrew AEW on that night, but AEW did not suffer a lot of damage, as World's End was only a few hundred tickets away from a sellout. So it seems like they're changing course on announcing pay-per-view dates, which at this rate, I understand, because WWE is wilding out with that shit.
But it's not the first time that has happened. So it's like they shouldn't be surprised that, so stop making your stuff like publicly known right away. Because then they'll say, let's put on a pay-per-view right now. Like, no, fool. Like, let's put a pay-per-view on your day. Like, but we already know who's going to watch them all, but whatever.
But you also have to announce these dates so people can plan them out and like make travel to make it to these places. So
yes.
You have to find.
But also like stop being petty. Yeah.
Also, stop being petty. ROH TV to finish up with the Converse this week. You had Shane Taylor Promotions and Lee J beating Dark Order, Beefcake Boulder, and Serpentico in the 8-man tag team main event. Red Velvet picked up a win over Angelica Risk in a ROH World TV title proving ground matchup as well. And then finally, Matt Cardona competed at ROH Final Battle, and he's confirmed he did not get a contract from AEW or ROH following. Cardona appeared on the Ariel Helwani show and spoke about his match with Chris Jericho. On being contacted about the match, he said, "A month or so ago, I get called, hey, do you want to wrestle Chris Jericho at Hammerstein Ballroom? Hell yes, I do. Another guy I grew up idolizing. We do the weeks of TV, getting reactions in-house, social media, killer match at Hammerstein Ballroom. Shrugs, nothing in terms of a contract offer." On if he would be open to joining AEW full-time, he said, "Of course, I loved my time there. Even this past time in December, I loved it there. I think it's a great company. I think it's great for the business. I think everyone's working their ass off there, but everything has to be the right situation, and I wasn't offered anything." So, confirming that he did not receive the contract offer, unlike what Dave Meltzer reported, what was this, like a month or so ago. So, we'll have to keep our eye on that.
Yeah.
But final two shows for what we missed. You had NJPW Battle in the Valley last Saturday. The show featured Gabe Kidd and Tomohiro Ishii going to a 30-minute time limit draw in a outstanding opener to the show for the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. Post-match, Kidd challenged Ishii to a 30-minute Iron Man match at Windy City Riot on April 11th. Sumi Sakai received a beautiful retirement match and ceremony. Yeah. Team Hiromu defeated Team Sumi in a very fun trios match. Post-match, Hiromu Takahashi, Mayu Iwatani, and Yuka Sakazaki all paid tribute to Sumi Sakai. You also had El Desperado defeated Taiji Ishimori in a very good main event to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Konosuke Takeshita beat Kushida in another damn good match on the show to retain the Never Openweight Championship. Post-match, Takeshita challenged Hiroshi Tanahashi for his final New Japan match in the United States at Windy City Riot on April 11th. World-class Wrecking Crew defeated Roppongi Revice in a pretty decent matchup to retain the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. El Phantasmo and Jeff Cobb went to a double countout in a very good match for the NJPW World Television Championship, while Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Hechicero in a superb technical wrestling clinic. Go out of your way to watch this one. Got some of the best submissions, some of the most unique submissions I've seen in a match in quite some time in this one. So go out of your way to watch that one. And we did a review earlier this week. But finally, TNA Impact this week. The show featured Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry having one final face-to-face confrontation ahead of Genesis. That saw Ryan Nemeth trying to get involved, which led to Hendry almost delivering the standing ovation to Ryan until Nick hit Joe with a super kick to stand tall. The Hardys beat PCO and Sami Callihan in a fine matchup. Mike Santana and Josh Alexander had an entertaining promo exchange to make their Genesis match a I Quit match. Leon Slater pulled off an upset over Trent Seven. Steve Macklin and Eric Young picked up a win over First Class. Post-match, The System came out on stage to stare down and set up a TNA Genesis matchup with Macklin and EY. And finally, Jordan Grace delivered the contract for a TNA Genesis match with Tessa Blanchard to the commentary desk, where Tessa signed it later in the show, until Jordan Grace attacked and brawled with Blanchard, and Grace delivered the Juggernaut driver to Tessa to close the show and stand tall. So some good build up to TNA Genesis on this show this week. We will see what goes down at the show. But speaking of Genesis, it was previously reported that TNA Genesis was selling very well, surpassing last year's Hard to Kill in January. PW Insider reports that the show has now outsold the last ROH Final Battle show at the Curtis Caldwell Center in Garland, Texas in 2023. There are still a couple of hours away, or a day left before the show tomorrow night, but TNA is expecting a healthy number of walk-up sales as well. So should be a very successful show, even teasing some WWE NXT presence on the show as well. So very interested to see what goes down tomorrow night. We'll have our predictions to close the show. But before we do that, we got our best and worst of the week, Miss Krssi Love. You know the deal. Who had the best week? Who had the worst week? Who do you give it to this week, Krssi?
Best week, Penta.
Yeah. I agree. That's unanimous. Penta had the best week. Worst week.
John
you know
Moxley?
who I'm gonna pick. You know what I'm gonna say.
Who?
Corey Crash Out Graves.
Oh yes, Corey Graves. Yeah, Corey. Okay, I was gonna say John Moxley.
No, he is officially Corey Crash Out Graves this week.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll agree. I'll steal that with you and just say Corey Graves. Yeah.
Corey Graves.
Yeah.
What was your matches?
Oh, and Jeff Jarrett.
Well, Jeff Jarrett, did not have a good week. He did not have it. Jeff Jarrett, he got saved though, because Corey crashing out is worse than Jarrett having a bad promo. But we got to move on to matches of the week. This is where you give your best 3, 5, or 10 if you're me. Matches from this past week.
You have 10?
This week was a 10 week. Number 10.
Go first then. Yeah.
Number 10, Fraxium versus OTM from NXT. That was a lot better than I thought it would be. Number 9, Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai from Monday Night Raw. Hell of a sprint those two ladies had. Number 8, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor from Raw on Netflix. The street fight, a lot of fun. Hopefully the end of that feud as well. Collision last Saturday, Daniel Garcia versus Shibata is number 7. Great match for the TNT title. Then we'll go number 6. Number 6 for me, Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage from Dynamite, Maximum Carnage. Great comeback match for Omega. Number 5, the Women's Casino Gauntlet from Maximum Carnage. That was just a lot of fun. The Casino Gauntlet is like the best stipulation in AEW. Number 4, Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley from last night's SmackDown. I feel like everybody would be talking about this match as one of like the bar being set for best women's match of WWE if the crowd was better. The crowd was asleep for like the first half. Number 3 for me this week, Penta versus Chad Gable from Raw. Great debut for Penta. Number 2, Gabe Kidd versus Tomohiro Ishii from Battle in the Valley. Go out of your way to watch this one. You will never see a 30-minute match start a New Japan show ever again. I've never seen it before. I don't think I'm ever going to see it again. But number 1, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hechicero, because I'm horny for submission wrestling. So that's why I give it to that one. Yours.
Number 5, it's going to be Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley. Number 4 is Damian and Finn. Number 3 is Omega and Brian Cage. Brian Cage changed his hair. I'm like, I didn't even recognize him.
He grew out his beard. That's what.
Okay. Number 2 is Penta and Chad Gable, and then number 1 is the Women's Casino Gauntlet match. Hello.
Good choice.
Yeah, okay.
Good
yeah,
choice.
Okay.
I liked it. I like the woman. I like the Women's Casino Gauntlet. If it wasn't for Battle in the Valley, that probably would have been higher on my list. But we do have a super chat donation from Call Me Mr. Bonda, or our number 1 Joe Hendry hater. He says, other than a catchy theme song, what does Joe Hendry do? He makes us believe. That's what he does. We believe in Joe Hendry. We got a couple of people who is, we forgot to mention. We didn't mention the Jada Parker crash out this week either. Did you not see that?
I did not see it.
So Jada Parker went on social media on her Instagram and she shared a post. I think it's like the SEC or one of these sports organizations are basically banning transgendered athletes in competing
in certain sports and certain things. Yes.
Yeah. So Jada shared the post and liked it. So basically, people were accusing her of being transphobic. And instead of just letting it be and letting it just play itself out, she crashed out on Twitter. Oh. She crashed out on Twitter, multiple posts responding to people. So people was like, oh, you want to crash out? Oh, you got a response? We got something for you. Niggas leaked some tape of WWE wrestlers out in the club. And in the tape, you can see in a corner, Jey Uso and Jada Parker talking very close to each other. So everybody's saying that Jada Parker is a homewrecker and fucked Jey Uso.
I said this is the why is it that people just get happy with their fingers and just start just ranting off and just start doing stuff? Like, girl, like, you better than this, mama. Come on. Well, probably not, because
okay. See, no. Thank you, Power Driver Finisher. You reminded me. You reminded me, because that was big on like Tuesday.
Yeah, like, and someone Wednesday, can someone send me that video? I need to see it. She's in the corner with some. Damn. They probably was just talking about. They could have been talking about wrestling.
It's like people they recorded right here, and then you see her leggings, and you see Jay touching her legs, and you see him talking to her. They have drinks in their hand and stuff like that, and then they had the Instagram post where she had the same leggings on that same night that the video dropped. So crashing out. I'm crashing out.
Did Jay leave his lady? Like, is that confirmed? Or like, did he cheat on her? Like,
I don't know.
I'm not condoning any of this stuff, guys. I'm just asking questions. The courses of people want to know.
And then finally, Krssi, what was your moment of the week? What was your moment? Angle, promo, non-wrestling match moment of the week? For me, I'm going to say it was Penta's promo after his debut.
Penta's promo after his debut, yes. It was touching. It was you felt it, like it was something that he's been trying to, like, I guess, do and like just be this different person or this character and just like be more, because you never really hear him speak.
Yeah.
So for him to do that was like a big deal. So yes, I give it to him.
Can't believe Tony Khan had fucking Alex Abrahantes pantomiming behind Penta all these years. He never needed that shit. He never needed Penta says any of that shit to be a star. Tony Khan is literally the only promotion in the past 10 years that didn't really give Penta a shot as a single star. Lucha Underground, he was a former 2-time world champion. Mm-hmm. Impact, second match in, he won the world title. Like, yeah. Anyway, moving on to finally close out our show with final predictions. We got The People versus GCW, which will be tomorrow night in the Hammerstein Ballroom. We'll only give a prediction for the top matches before we go through the TNA Genesis card. But you got Masato Tanaka. He'll be going one-on-one with Joey Janela on the card. That should be a very interesting matchup there. You also got El Hijo del Vikingo. He'll be going one-on-one with Sydney Akeem, the former Reggie. You also have Yoshihiro Tajiri. He'll be teaming up with Super Crazy and Little Guido to versus the Desperados and Desperados, Gringo Loco, Jack Cartwheel, and Aheredes. So that will be a fun 6-man tag team matchup. You got Matt Cardona will be going one-on-one with a mystery partner. You also have a New York City 6-man tag team matchup. Homicide teaming up with Grim Reaper and Amazing Red to verse Griffin McCoy, Kerry Morton, and Tony Deppen in that one. You also got Megan Bain after her AEW debut. She goes one-on-one with Alice Cougar. And then we got our first match we'll give prediction for. First match we got predictions for. Look at this one, Krssi. A blood sport match. No ropes. MMA style rules. It will be Josh Barnett going one-on-one with the artist formerly known as Baron Corbin, Tom Pescott, making his non-WWE debut. Literally the first ever match he will have in professional wrestling outside of WWE.
Wow. Really? His first, this is his first time ever wrestling outside of WWE?
Yeah, he started. He went straight from the NFL to WWE. So this is his first time wrestling outside of WWE. And he's doing it in the Hammerstein Ballroom in front of 1,700 strong in New York City. So who you got?
That's pretty good. I don't know if I like the name though, but whatever.
No, that's his real name. I don't think if he goes to a major promotion, he's gonna have to change that name.
He has to, but whatever, Tom. But yeah, we have to do a little bit better, but it's okay. I'm gonna go with Tom.
I'll go with Josh Barnett. Damn,
him losing his first match.
Josh Barnett don't never lose. He don't ever lose.
I don't know, Josh Barnett. Okay.
He don't ever lose. Yeah, that's all I can tell you. He don't ever lose.
Right.
Then you got former tag team partners, now bitter enemies. Steel cage matchup. Charles Mason goes one-on-one with Richard Holiday. I'm going to go with Charles Mason for the win.
Charles Mason looks crazy.
Exactly. That's why I'm going with him for the win.
And it's a steel cage match. Yeah. That dude look like he's off the rails. Give it to he gonna win.
Then we got for the GCW World Tag Team Championships, Violence is Forever versus the Garbage Daddies of you got our boy Alec Price teaming up with his boy what's his name again? Cole Radrick. Excuse me. I was like, I see his name right there. But I'm going with the Garbage Daddies for the win. I got to see my man Alec Price win some gold.
Garbage Daddies. Yes.
Then we got an Extreme Doors, Ladders, and Chairs match. 8 people in this matchup, as you're going to see Rina Yamashita, Matt Tremont, Matthew Justice, Drew Parker, John Wayne Murdoch, Brandon Kirk, and Maki Ito. Who you got in this one?
So is it teams or just one-on-one? Everyone?
It's every person for themselves. I'm going with Maki Ito.
Same. I love her. That's the one that comes. Yeah, I like Maki.
That's the one who sings to the ring. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Let's have her come.
And then we have a double main event in the Hammerstein as the former members of Bussy explode. It will be Effie going one-on-one with Ali Catch. Ali Catch turned on Effie back in the Cage of Survival back last summer. And now the winner of this match will face Mance Warner for the GCW World Championship in the main event tomorrow night. Who you got? Ali versus Effie first.
I got Ali Catch.
So I got Effie to get the win. So you got Ali versus Mance Warner. Who you got for the win? Ali or Mance?
Mance.
I got Effie versus Mance. I'm going with Effie, new GCW World Champion tomorrow night.
Okay.
Put the title on Effie. And then you also got TNA Genesis tomorrow night. Let me know in the comments down below if you're watching us on demand. If you want us to do a watch along for TNA Genesis, that will be my live stream if y'all want me to do that for tomorrow. TNA Genesis, you got the countdown to Genesis, which will see Frankie Kazarian going one-on-one with Leon Slater. Who you got, Krssi?
Frankie Kazarian.
I am going to go with Leon Slater.
Okay.
Then we got for the TNA, for a non-title match, tag team match, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards of the System versus Eric Young and Steve Macklin. Who you got?
The System.
I'll go with the System here. I'll go with the System. Then we got for the a I Quit match. It's going to be Josh Alexander versus Mike Santana. This should be one of the best matches of the show.
And it's a hard one. I want to say Mike, but I feel like Josh is going to pull it off. I'm going to go Josh.
I'm going with Mike Santana because I think that this is going to be the last TNA show for Josh Alexander.
Oh, really? Okay. You think he's going to go over to WWE?
WWE, or I can see him going to AEW as well.
All right, Mike Santana then.
TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship, Spitfire will verse Ash and Heather by Elegance. I'm going with Spitfire. Who you got?
The champs retain.
Then we got for the TNA X Division Championship, Moose goes one-on-one with Ace Austin. Can Ace win the gold for Chris Bay? Krssi.
I'm going to go with Moose retains.
I agree. Moose retains this one. Then we got for the TNA Knockouts World Championship, Clockwork Orange House of Fun, Masha Slamovich, Rosemary. I got Masha.
Masha retains, yes. Love Rosemary though.
For the TNA World Tag Team Championships, the Hardys defend against the Rascals. Who you got?
I want the Rascals to win, but I know they're not going to win, so I'm going to go with the Hardys.
I got the Hardys to retain. This is the match you're looking forward to the most tomorrow night, Krssi Love. Jordan Grace goes one-on-one with Tessa Blanchard. I got Tessa.
Jordan Grace. I'm never. We're not doing this.
And do you believe, Krssi, that Joe Hendry will become the new TNA World Champion against Nick Nemeth?
I do not. I have
Nick Nemeth for the win?
Yes.
Damn. I'm going with Joe Hendry to finally win the TNA World Championship.
Yeah, do you think they're going to put it on him? Okay.
It'll probably be a short-term run, but they got to have him win. They got to have him win.
Okay. A win is a win, right? And even if it's for a week or two.
Win is a win is a win.
When it's a win is a win. You're right. Okay. We'll see. I'll be waiting to see the reactions from everyone. I'll be looking at your comments.
That brings us to a close for our flagship podcast this week. Had a lot of fun talking with Krssi about wrestling and everything outside of wrestling, because we tend to do that when it's just me and her.
See, if you have someone else here, they kind of like keep us on the track.
Keep us on track. Keep us on track.
When it's us two, we watch a lot of other shows that we watch in common that we got to talk about, and this is the time that we let it out. So
goes off the deep end. But Krssi, as always, enjoy our time together on these Saturdays. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they might see you again.
Yes, guys, thank you again. You will see myself and SP. We'll probably be doing like a traders review, I'm sure, especially since he told me I got to make sure I watch next week's on time. But yeah, we use our other channel. Other than that, you can follow me. It's Krssi Love _1, Tru Heel Krssi Love, and then there's just my plain old name, Crystal Lynch. If you want to get married, hit me up. I'm available to marry you. And then I'm on some people's roundtables. I go on people's shows, things like that. Hit me up. Thanks.
Hit up Krssi, the best special guest you can get. Follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SB3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. Patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best place to support us when we are not live here. And go over and subscribe now if you haven't already to the channel, because I will be live tomorrow. Either it will be a TNA Genesis watch along or something else. Maybe I'll watch something else. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But most likely it'll be a watch along, and then we'll do the review on Monday. But I'll see if anybody wants to join me for a watch along due to us hitting our super chat goal yet on AE Ramble on Friday. So I will be back for that. But I will also be back on Monday for our TNA Genesis review. You got Tuesday, Rated Raw review. Wednesday, we'll have a Saturday night's main event preview as well. So a lot to stay tuned for here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. But until then, for Miss Krssi Love, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 312 Zero Metal Exodus. We are signing off until next time.
Laters.